We're not talking about how the floods, lean season plus floods affecting food.
Yeah.
Right. Last year, we lost about 1.4 million hectares or so to floods. I think that we still continue to see an increase in food inflation. So my worry with inflation numbers, I think that we're not talking enough about food inflation and how to actually now curtail food inflation to benefit or to help the average Nigerian.
Well, every price in Nigeria, from transportation to real estate, is the price of the goods plus Nigeria's inefficiency. The wages conversation, right? Because you are now pursuing employers to pay a wage that is uncommensurate to the production levels that they are getting.
As far as the regular American citizen is concerned, call it whatever you want to call it. Macros are good, markets are up, call it whatever you want. If gas prices are high, food prices expensive, cost of groceries are expensive, you have failed.
You cannot have growth without inflation.
That's fine.
Because if there's growth, then people are spending more.
Exactly.
So what we want to be asking is, our wages going up?
I mean, as business people, as people in the economy, what do we want to hear from presidential aspirants? Because, I mean, elections start in August, September. Hello everyone, welcome to Drinks and Mics, brought to you by Nairametrics in partnership with Lead Drop, Mandilas, NGX. Yes, NGX just joined as well, Swan Water, and of course we are at the Yolo Island. So thanks to Yolo Beach for giving us this interesting venue. We're meant to be on recess, on break, but this gentleman here, I'm sure you can see them, would not allow us go on break.
We love it too much.
Yeah.
We love it too much.
They get bored easily. They are busy, but they get bored easily. And so we're here for a special summer Drinks and Mics edition. Probably going to be giving you some more specials like this once in a while, but a lot of stuff to discuss. And we're not here alone. Of course, we got the delectable, intelligent, smart, beautiful Amaka Anku. Amaka, introduce yourself. Let me allow you to introduce yourself for those who know you and those who don't know you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I am Amaka Anku. I lead Africa coverage at Eurasia Group, which is a global political analysis consultancy.
Fantastic. And you cover
Africa.
All right. Good. So you see, we're going to be discussing geopolitics a lot today. Of course, we're going to be discussing macros and a lot of stuff going on in the country. It's as if they were just waiting for us to take a break the last 3 weeks. A lot of stuff has happened that we need to sort of dissect. Of course, I'm not here alone. I've got the man Tunji Andrews to my right and Mr. Arnold Dublin Green. You guys are going to see Arnold in holiday mode, in
no suits,
beach vacation mode, you know.
Cigars and whiskey.
Yeah, so it's cigars, whiskey.
Cigars and whiskey.
That's his zone. Yeah. All right, guys, let's start. Been a busy few weeks. Last time the crew met, Amaka, I think the last episode was a truce that was kind of like a fragile truce between Iran and the U.S. and that basically set the tone for what we thought would probably be, lower oil prices, inflation coming out. But now things have sort of escalated. So, I mean, I don't know what went wrong.
Oh, okay. Are we starting with me?
Yeah, starting with you.
Ladies first.
Yeah.
What went wrong? So a couple of things. It sounds like both sides, there wasn't as much clarity on exactly who would control the Straits of Hormuz, right? So that's where things started to fall apart. Meaning, if you're Iran, your leverage depends on controlling Strait of Hormuz. If you're the US, sort of quote unquote success depends on Iran not controlling the Strait of Hormuz.
Wow.
So there was some language, not quite so clear, but what was happening in practice was that there were a lot of ships that were trying to pass on the Oman side. And I think Iran felt like, if we lose this leverage, so it's a nice MOU. There were some agreements to get some money back to Iran. Some things that some people in Washington thought was generous for Iran, but it won't be implemented if, from Iran's perspective, given the US's history and especially the person at the top right now, how do you guarantee implementation if you don't have any leverage? If you lose control of the Strait of Hormuz? So that's where things started to fall apart. Is Iran still wants to keep that leverage? The US doesn't want them to.
So when they were striking this deal, didn't they think that? I mean, there was one article I read one time that it was a clause that was one of the reasons why this was happening, the interpretation of the clause and all that. And, around the Straits of Hormuz and who controls it, like you said.
Yeah.
So the people, crafters of this so-called deal, I mean,
that's how deals. So memorandums of understanding are often deliberately vague. Right?
so that people can just
you can play around it.
whichever way you want.
Play around it.
Yeah, right. So you can read your own meaning into it. The point, if you're the mediators want to get broad enough language to encompass both sides, right?
So that you don't feel like you're being cheated and the other person doesn't feel the same.
Exactly. And remember, usually the language will leak, which, so you want it to be as broad as possible. And so that's where the problem starts, especially on issues so critical.
I know. What does this mean, though? Generally?
Yeah. So,
for projections and everything.
So for me, oil, right?
Yeah.
Huge oil. But so going back to what Amaka said about Iran not getting leverage or trying to get leverage, right? Because they've lost about 200 billion or so of cash from the closure. And then there's quite a few ships trying to go to the Oman side. So apparently it's now also reading that Iran wants to figure out how to control the south, which is the Oman side of the straits, right? And ships are now going back to what it means, right? Because the amount of ships are going down. I think there were about 36 or so ships a week average pre 7th of July. Now, as of last week, I had only 11 ships. So for me, it's oil. Right, oil spiked 14% over the past couple of weeks. Oil projection for me, I think oil goes back to the 90, 100 levels because this thing it's going to go past the summer. It's summer break. A lot of people aren't really bothered. The external buffers that would have probably gotten involved. The German Bundestag's on a break. The French and the Brits, they're sort of like trying to partner with Oman for the mine cleanup. Japan is undecided on how to support China. All China can say is, guys, just calm down, right? So for me, projections mean that this the break of ceasefire or this war lasts through the summer because of everything, right? No one's really bothered, and then oil goes back up.
Sanji, how do you think this gets? Because I mean, I could remember initially you were an optimist, then later you then became a pessimist with the way things were going. Yeah. I mean, Sanji is usually very realistic, but we've always talked about off-ramp and not being any. It looks like there really isn't any off-ramp here. Somebody has got to take an L.
It's been completely destroyed.
Somebody has to take an L.
I think because I was taking time to observe it last week, and I realized how the Iranians must be kicking themselves right now. Like, why did we persist this long? And the US, for all the troubles it's causing, they too can't back down now. It's now really at that point where backing down is too bad. There was earlier we said, Iran won by not losing. And US lost by not winning. Now the US can't back down.
Yeah, but also the Iranians can't back down as well because if they back down, they
lose that leverage that she said.
They back down. They've lost so much money.
But here's the thing.
They can't afford.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. The war is happening on their doorstep.
Yeah.
Strikes are happening in Iran, right? And the country is getting decimated as we speak.
Yeah.
right? The counterparty you are speaking to, he's in Washington.
Yeah, but like, how would you feel? Would you say, I've lost so much, I might as well keep going. Let me get my
Absolutely.
reward? Which is what I think the
agree.
mentality is. Like, I've
Yeah.
lost so much money.
Plus,
We've been
Like my back's on the ground. I can't know where to go.
Unfortunately, the adult in the room on the Iranian side is the person the US killed. Because really, the adult thing right now to do is, yes, you might not completely throw in the towel, but you have to off ramp now. It's getting
If you're
worse.
Iran,
If you're,
Yes.
you can't.
You can't.
You're like since you've
How
lost,
is
you've
that-
already lost.
and then
You've lost
what?
so much. Yeah.
No. That's the
Then
thing,
allow
right?
this guy
What
to
I'm
do
saying
the
is,
deal and they do that.
so what it is
later,
that
Israel
you
will
can't,
come and mow the lawn,
you
kill
can't
more of
fight.
you.
Can't
You know?
continue fighting till the end. Is also not an option
Why not?
for Iran.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not saying it's a good
draw back.
option,
Let's draw back
but it's
now
an
because
option.
we know outcomes are different for different people.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody who wants to be a martyr fighting to the end looks good, right?
Yeah.
Is that possibly what you feel Iran is looking at? Because I feel there's still some economic conversations because they've been speaking a lot more about the Straits right now, about how they want to control it, how they want to be
because
paid.
they need the cash.
So
I
I'm
think-
Because they
hearing
need the
them
cash.
speaking economics,
Yeah,
right?
because they need the money.
Yes. So right now, the off ramp is: can we find an economic solution to this thing where you
So
pay
isn't
off
that why?
jail?
Isn't that why it looks like there is no solution here? Because, like you said when you started, your own point, America wants to control straits. I think it was what you said. Or they don't want to control the strait, but they want
Iran
a
not to
strait
control
that
it.
is free of any
Iranian,
toll.
yeah.
Now Iran is saying no.
Yeah.
We must toll. And I think to even make it worse, Trump now says, "Oh, okay, any ships that pass the straits
Should pay
will pay us." And I think
That was,
dial back.
that was a 20 seconds.
That was a Trump moment.
And then they're like,
That was a Trump
so
moment.
Iran is like,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
so
not
you
a
see,
problem.
somebody's got to pay for it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So I kind of feel like I don't think there is an off ramp that either party can implement at the moment without taking a major loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. However, what I think could force the off ramp is what either side can control, and that is one: if oil prices soar and Americans start to feel it a lot, then I think that someone has got to be forced to do a deal.
Yeah.
Right. And then if the Iranian economy crumbles, like Tunji
almost
suggested,
there? Because I don't understand. I don't understand how you.
So
believe that we
but-
can-
something has got to happen first. I don't know which one.
I think the difference.
But I think that's what's going to be the sort of like what ends this.
Yeah.
How long it will
So
take? I don't
agree.
know.
How long? So look, I think the difference here is that Iran is it's not an open economy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a democratic system.
Yeah.
So it has much more potential to take pain. Than
But
the
we
US
always
and the
assume
world economy
that
does, right?
because
So-
those states look the way they do, people there are not capitalists in their thinking.
But did you see a number of
It's
people
not
that
about the capitalists.
turned out for the burial of
Yeah.
Khamenei or something?
Yeah, but that's who he is. He's loved. Aside the fact that he was, what do they call it again? Supreme
Leader.
Ayatollah.
He was loved.
Yeah.
You understand? So
What are we drinking today, by the way? I can see
yeah.
the
So
Do you have something
I
special?
brought this specially. This is a single cask, Middleton. I mean, only 192 bottles of this were made, and we're drinking number 171. So yeah,
Okay, nice.
yeah. Let's
So
just,
we'll drink it slowly.
I thought you brought it for me or something.
it's all the same. It's all the same. You want to check it out. So this is, you see, 171. Yeah.
Wow, 49.6% alcohol level.
Yeah.
What, 49.6? 50%. Oh, Lord, that's what was absinthe.
Guys, don't drink and drive. Anyway, so let's move. Let's sort of pivot to Ukraine and Russia.
Russia, yeah.
We've also seen an escalation of the war as well. Ukraine armed with a lot of money from Europe, stepping up their drone attacks. I think it was earlier this weekend. Russia hit them hard, really hard. No off-ramp there too. So is it not the same thing? So it's either Putin is so under pressure and Russians are worried of war on their doorsteps, maybe that's probably going to end it. Or, I don't know, maybe Europe or America stop supporting.
But Ukraine has NATO support, right? What's that, 7 billion?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So no off-ramp there as well.
Yeah.
So are we, and that's the larger question, you know. Amaka, are we now in from a geopolitical standpoint, are we in a perpetual state of geopolitical crisis?
Hasn't that always been
Because,
the case? Yeah.
well,
fair
not,
enough. I hear. I understand.
It's more pronounced.
yeah, it's a big
Very
more,
pronounced.
and
I
more,
agree.
and
I think so.
impacts the global economy a lot more.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And so
Is it a new norm?
at Eurasia Group, yes, at Eurasia Group, President Ian, we've been talking about something we call the G0 world.
The what, sorry?
Right?
G0.
The G0 world.
As in none of the G's
Which
exist.
is, G7,
G,
G0, meaning that
G20.
there is no single actor or group of actors that is willing or able to coordinate on like major global crises, to coordinate and either address major global crises, right? Whether it's climate change or wars, right?
Yeah.
So what you have is sort of like a crumbling of the power centers, of the established power systems. And then everybody is just kind of scrambling, right?
For their own. Yeah.
And Trump did not start it. Trump did not start it because it started
Really?
before Trump. Yes,
Who started?
So it's a part of what led to Trump. It started in part from US voters feeling that the US-led international liberal system, which was basically put together by the US after World War II, doesn't benefit them anymore. Right? If you think about the 30 years of China's growth, China was growing, wages were slowing in the US. US big corporations were making money, but that aggregate growth was not actually
trickling down.
Being delivered wasn't being distributed, right? Put it, right? So the average Joe feels like this international liberal, it's not helping me, right? I'm getting poorer. The industrial manufacturing jobs are disappearing, right? And so that's a part of what led to Trump, because there was political pressure from within the US to retreat, right? To retreat from the free trade advocacy, global protection, all that stuff. Why are we spending money on all those people when we are losing our jobs? So that's part of what led to Trump. And Trump has is accelerating it, right? With what is his own, should I call it, what we are calling political revolution in the US, basically, right? Because to add this element, so to your point, if you think about the US being the garder of the liberal world order, as hypocritical as it was, right? A part of how it worked was we are going to hold ourselves to certain standards, whether they're aspirational, our home. Right? When it comes to elections, you can call them aspirational, but we're going to hold ourselves to certain human rights, what's liberal or ideas and norms at home. And then we're going to go and enforce it on the international stage. Okay? What Trump is doing at home is he's cutting all that away. Well, democracy, if my person doesn't win, then the system doesn't work.
Doesn't work, yeah.
Right? So forget the order, the kinds of things he has done, what we're calling really it's revolutionary, eating at the system. Things like going after the Fed chair, going after democratic
immigration policies.
No, not even that too, but more the things like that.
Attacking institutions. Yeah. That are basically at the
going
core of
after, liberal institutions, going after democratic, taking away money from democratic parties just for no reason.
Anti-establishment
It's more
rhetoric.
than anti-establishment. It is the core of the norms of a democratic system that he's gone after, right? And the point is, the more you do that at home, there's no basis to enforce it internationally. Because if you don't believe in those rules and orders,
so there's no point. I get your point.
So that's your point. To your point, that answer to your point, yes, I do think we're entering a system of more pronounced international geopolitical disorder.
So what do you think?
Because
what do you think of capital markets, right? Because the US, on the geopolitical side, the US is the world police, like you've said. You've basically said, right?
Yep.
But if they can't police themselves, they don't have any time to police the world. So G0, right, is what I'm understanding from what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then, but the world now also buys this US exceptionalism trade I think mainly because the US is the world police, right? So we will all have US assets. We like US dollar for trade.
Yes.
We have US bonds, US Treasury bills to park our
Is that why we
dollars.
did it?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Is that why the world did it?
I think the US being the world police helped
its market. He's
massively
not
helped
saying
the
it's the
market.
other way around.
But now, if you're saying that the G0, the US is no longer the world
Yeah.
police, then what then happens to the US exceptionalism in trade?
It's a good question.
Right.
So I think this is what my view.
Yeah.
It's here to stay for a while because the US market is the deepest capital market in the world.
Okay.
And that's not going to change overnight.
Yeah.
Right. So even if you want to, I think that there's a lot of long-term thinking amongst asset managers in the US and globally about de-risking from the US. The problem is, where are you going to go?
Where are you going to go? Yeah.
Where are you going to go?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a very, very, very long-term
Yeah.
thing. So there will be a slow movement away,
Yeah.
but it's not going to happen overnight.
But then
right?
you also have this interesting China
Yeah.
coming on board, right?
Yeah.
You can see the AI China versus US war, and then Japan is looking somewhat attractive in a sense, right? Where Japanese bond yields are back up again. Japan has been in disinflationary or deflation for a very long time, and they finally found inflation. Japanese bonds are looking interesting. Do you think it flows towards Asia in that sense? Or, I mean, it's going to take a while, but
It's
do you
going to
think...
take a while.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's going to take a while. I mean, I think, there's still concerns about governance in China, right? There's still concerns about transparency.
Yeah, transparency.
So China is not a clear alternative.
No.
Right?
China
At
doesn't
least not
represent a
for
democratic
Western, not for
liberalism.
Western,
Yeah.
So there's no clear alternative.
Yeah.
And that's the bind. And that's why, if you think about it, up until some of the, riskiest moments of this war, the US capital markets were soaring.
Yeah.
Despite all the
There's no
political
choice,
risks, despite all the trouble.
So what's the disconnect
and it's
then?
also AI.
What's the
There's also an AI
disconnect?
bubble.
What's the disconnect? Why is it that? Because normally before, when you have crises like this, oil prices probably would have been like 150, 160 now.
Yeah.
Stock market probably will be crashing or receding.
Yeah.
But it's not happening.
We live in a different world now.
So what are the rules of this world that we're in?
I think it's
Do
not.
we know?
I think it's not just rules. So it's everything. The engagements of war. So naturally, some of the things that inspire the outcomes of war are things like media engagements. So, for instance, at a time where the Iraq-Iran war was happening, a large portion of non-Iranian, non-Iraqi media for the rest of the world came from the US and the British.
Yeah.
So whatever they told us was what we believed,
Okay.
right?
So on a PR
Yeah, so
level,
exactly
so-
from a PR perspective.
Yeah.
So the world looked at the war from, these guys are bad, we are the good guys, and
Yeah.
America is enforcing our rights. Yes, go US. Now it's not so the same, right? It's now a situation whereby we're hearing the story from all the angles at the same time with different nuances, different contexts.
Yeah.
The silly people in the room, the wise people in the room.
Yeah.
You're hearing everybody unfiltered.
Yeah.
So it is very difficult for one actor to have many people supporting them,
Yeah.
right? So even in this Iraq-America issue, right? There are still people who are like, US shouldn't be doing this. There are people who are like, Iraq should chill.
Yeah.
Iran should chill, And this is on both sides, even in Iran.
Yeah.
There are people who are in America who are saying, why are we going to do that? Do you get? So that really waters down what a war would be.
Okay.
Back in the day, it was clear. They were fighting a war. She's the bad person. He's the good guy. We were clear. The narratives are now so watered down
So
that
now we don't know who the bad guy is.
exactly. So the market is not like the market is desensitized. It's just that there are too many narratives for you to have herd mentality go in one direction. And that is where the market is suffering. So I believe that one thing that the market is missing probably is a different set of tools to view risk. Sugar, a different set of lenses to view risk. You know, you always say this thing. Once this goes down and then this is up, then that means this is going to happen. That's not that world anymore.
Yeah, there's a disconnect.
That's not our world anymore.
Yeah.
There's a huge disconnect, and the quicker that markets realize this, I think it's the best for everyone. Because if you look at, for instance, look at the young markets, the young investors, people who are just coming into the market for the first time, people who are in their 20s, they don't really care that America has issues with Iran. You know, if you were to ask the average 23-year-old somewhere in Texas, like, what's the issue between America and Iran? Apart from the fact that he might not know, doesn't really care. I mean, forget
He
Iran.
cares if gas prices are
Exactly. That's the only time it comes. And you only ask because gas prices are high, and it starts asking why is it high. They don't say, oh, it's because we're fighting in Iran. It's like, okay. If you ask somebody in Lagos also, the same 23-year-old in Lagos, I'm sure they might not even know what's going on. Ask a 23-year-old in Paris. Ask a 23-year-old in London. So you start seeing that there's a huge population of the world that doesn't really care about this war.
But it's also because people are a bit tired as well, right? And the markets, apart from certain commodities and obviously oil, markets at some point started to shrug this off, right? On a micro level, you know, the AI rally was going on when the war was falling apart because AI companies were like, we're still going to invest, we're still going to spend capex, we still need to grow. You know, so it's like business leaders, the markets, after a while, it's like, okay, we need to now figure out how to live in a world where this is going on and we're still profiting and we're still carrying on. So I think on that side as well, it's a sense of fatigue with the war and trying to figure out how to place themselves despite oil being at 120, oil might go to 150, oil goes to 200. How can we survive? And we saw that in, you know, Oracle spending 50 to 60 billion in capex, Amazon's still spending 200 billion, Elon Musk still issuing his biggest IPO whilst all this was going on. So I think it's sort of the world trying to figure out how to live despite what's going on.
I agree, because there's something someone told me as one of the reasons why you're seeing these things happen. And he says, just try the ad. He says, go and track the data. You find out that more than ever, we're seeing government play a major role in investing in companies.
Yeah.
So either through in the US, yes.
Okay.
Either through contracts, giving them very juicy contracts. Or actually investing in them. You've seen you've seen the US government trying to invest in Intel. You've seen China propping up a lot of his local companies. So a lot of countries appear to be using their sovereign investment funds as well to really push up markets. And so long as these things keep happening, there's always going to be that disconnect between markets and the signs that we're seeing
this has always happened though.
I think it's at a larger scale.
So for me, actually, what was more surprising, but maybe not for me as an analyst that follows sort of frontiers in Africa, but I think for an average person, is that usually when you have a global crisis, right, you see capital flight from Africa, from frontier markets, from EMs, from what is often perceived as the
high risky markets,
right? We haven't seen that this year.
So
we haven't seen that as much this year. In fact, we were seeing, you know, a lot more money going into EM funds. Actually, we were seeing if you look at, say, the African sovereigns that have gone to issue this year. Angola went and issued.
Yeah, most of them
got a lower yield than they did last year. Of course, they're an oil-producing country, so you can kind of make that. You can understand why that would be the case, right? Because oil prices were high. So they issued basically in the middle of the war. DRC issued its first ever debt, and they got a better yield than even Angola, that is established, right? So a part of it, but even if you think about last year, even when Nigeria issued in the fall, they got a better deal too than they had the year before. So I feel like there is definitely a little bit more of of a perception of a broader higher risk premium to US assets that is causing more money from the US. It's not a lot, so I don't want to overstate it.
Exactly. That was what I was about to say. Yeah.
But if you think about the US market in terms of treasuries and capital markets, it's like how much? 90 trillion. It's a huge market. Even if it's like a fraction of money that is being redirected into frontiers.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's big. It will have an impact.
I'm not sure there's much of an option for a lot of people. So keeping money in emerging markets, frontier markets, seems a no-brainer, especially because the amount of money you're keeping there is not really significant. Right?
Yields are high.
Yields are high. So
that's what I'm saying. But where's the money coming from? So there is, go check the data.
Yeah.
Record QE.
Yeah.
Across governments. They're buying bonds. They're buying gold.
Yeah.
They're propping up companies.
Companies, yeah.
Taking stakes in each companies, giving out mega contracts, propping up valuations. So these things are not natural market designs. So that is why I mean the reason why you're not seeing you're not seeing oil prices respond the way it probably should respond.
How do you think they should respond?
Yeah, I mean,
No,
they're responding. They've just
they responded.
they responded 100 and something, and then now
people expected 150, 160. 20% of global oil supply.
Remember there was a lot of release of strategic oil reserves by some Western
Exactly.
countries.
That is even
So
enough
that
to cause
would have-
to create that kind of
but-
panic.
No, I'm saying the opposite. It would have the opposite impact on price if you're releasing more supply. So that's maybe a part of why we had 150, 110 and not 150.
Agreed. I mean, you
Right?
throwing renewables in there and the fact that dependence on oil more recently is not as much as it was several years ago.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, you do expect to have seen crude oil prices go higher than currently. You also expect stock markets to have been a lot more volatile than it currently is. So apart from so now you're seeing a market where you're seeing a market where it's volatile. It's volatile depending on Trump's comments.
I still
He says something and then it goes down. The next day it goes back up. What kind of market is
I
that?
still believe strongly that you guys are strongly underestimating the power of the media.
of the media.
I'm telling
Perception.
you. Perception is.
So what has perception got to do with this then?
So I remember like 9/11, right? I remember where I was when 9/11 happened, right? The TV screens were all, this just happened. And then the world was glued. It was almost as if as they finished in the US, they were going to come to Nigeria. I was in Lagos, by the way.
Yeah.
To see how far I was from the mayhem, the chaos, but how palpable the fear was. And you know the way the CNN shows go, like on the hour, when they are rehashing the news again. It's like it's happening every hour, and it's building the fear. It kind of, the fear is palpable, but they kind of exaggerate it to a point where it almost keeps everybody, what's the word? Stuck. But right now, I think the problem is that as Arnold will talk about, once we are talking about the Straits of Hormuz being closed, we're hearing about another opening somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
And it is not...
That's not going to come on stream till maybe...
But it's not guarded information. That's my point, right? It's not like privileged... Back in the days, that kind of information would have been privileged information where a select few would know, and then those guys would then profit off it and make a killing. Right now, everybody knows. So it's like, so do we really? Okay, we'll struggle for like 3 months, right? Then we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Let's go. Because once you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you see the solution, it's not really as paralyzing as it would normally be.
Yeah.
But right now, the challenge is, it's not a challenge really, it's the fact that media or news information has been so decentralized that your news outlet is not mine.
Agreed. And you would think that should make things worse. But anyway, let's bring this back home though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what does this mean for us? Amaka, I want to start with you. So we've seen oil prices climb back up, way above our benchmark average. I think we had 1.5 million barrels record. We're now gone past OPEC quota.
So let's start with the impact on the average Nigerian.
For government, that's good for government.
Yeah, exactly.
But for
Nigerians, we saw inflation coming down last month. We're probably going to see inflation. If prices stay higher, maybe inflation will tick back up because prices might go back up. They had reduced pump prices. I mean, got fuel prices a bit. But, you know, again, I think it depends on what happens with the war, right? It might go back up. But, you know, maybe more medium term, it's good for Nigerian assets, right? Like companies like Aradel might see another rally. People are selling off, thinking, oh, this issue, Strait of Hormuz is closed now, you know?
So
I think in general, Nigerian oil and gas assets are more attractive on
they
the
feel
back
like
of
the
all
brides
of this.
right now.
On the back of all of this.
Beautiful bride,
Yeah, exactly. On the back of all of this. And if you think about the fact that, you remember, Nigeria sells a lot of its oil in long-term contracts. So it wasn't getting a lot of benefit from high prices initially because they had pre-sold a bunch of stuff. So this is in this second half of the year that they can get the benefits from things that they sold.
I really hope we will.
And they can keep selling at higher prices for a little bit
But what
longer.
does that mean for us, though? Because, I mean, they still have wide physical deficits. I think we have an analysis, you know, that our research team did.
Production has been good.
Even if we're doing at one point, we still need to be at 1.8.
Yeah, which is where the budget is anyway.
Yeah, and that's where the budget is. Yeah, crude
No,
plus
but
condensate.
1.8, the budget is not crude on.
No, crude plus
It's crude plus
condensate. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
we're
but
currently at 1.7.
1.74. So that's the closest we've come to 1.8 in many, many years.
So we're still, you know, there's still a shot. But for regular Nigerians who don't understand all these things, so you're seeing people say, you know, fuel prices haven't come down fast enough. Diesel prices haven't come down fast enough.
Food prices are not coming down.
Food prices are actually going up. Yeah,
exactly.
Which we're going to talk about in a bit.
But they had come down before, right?
Yeah, but they're picking up again. In fact, let's probably talk about inflation now. The inflation numbers that we saw, we saw a dip in core inflation, headline inflation, but
50.96 to 50.4.
Food was hitting, was it 4% or so?
Yeah,
monthly or something like that. I saw.
So food is like 17.52 or so percent.
I mean, a lot of the problem with food inflation,
and we're in harvest season.
It's cost push, right? Like a lot of the problem with food inflation is sticky because it's about poor transportation from rural areas, poor storage, insecurity, all those things, right? So those things are going to be long-term structural problems. I do think that even the higher oil prices still ultimately benefit average Nigerians. I get it. You're not going to feel it today, but ultimately, the longer your currency is stable, the longer you have macroeconomic stability. I know, you know, people are like, yeah, it doesn't feed me. What does it mean for me today? But the longer you have macroeconomic stability, the more likely you are to attract investments in whatever part of your economy, whether it's agri, which will ultimately create more jobs, right? And impact people. And if your currency is getting stronger, that will also help with inflation, right? And higher oil prices helps all the macros for Nigeria.
So why Nigerians not feeling it yet?
Because it takes time.
How long?
So, I'm worried about food inflation. I think we're not talking a lot more. We're not talking about how the floods, lean season plus floods affecting food.
Yeah.
Right. Last year, we lost about 1.4 million hectares or so to floods. Right. And this year, I mean, I don't know what the record number is or what the data is for floods. But I think that we're looking at what up until August, so September, for the lean season to end and the floods to maybe calm down. I think that we still continue to see an increase in food inflation despite, I mean, we had lower oil prices, right? So low energy prices in June, and we saw that spike. Insecurities, farmer producers, and I saw it shows me that regardless of global macro, regardless of the war, oil goes up and down, we need to figure out what to do to food inflation, which affects the average Nigerian. So my worry with inflation numbers, I think that we're not talking enough about food inflation and how to actually now curtail food inflation to benefit or to help the average Nigerian.
So food inflation will drop.
Will drop.
Yeah.
When?
What will make it drop?
When? What?
So
harvest season is not until what, October?
we're entering it now.
We're entering October. We're not entering October now.
We're in July already. Next month is August. We're entering it now. So my point is, And harvest starts right around August. So there's no way that we see an upturn in food inflation. And of course, I'm always worried about food inflation. And it's just because of how elastic it is. A little tweak here and it jumps. You get a little increase in food inflation. A little increase in price of petrol. It's gone up. A little bit of a skirmish in one part of Nigeria, it's gone up, because those prices are on the go. There's no regulation, there's no structure, there's no, there's nothing saying that you set the prices from Kano and then it's going to be measured when it gets to Lagos. It is, everybody's pricing it as they feel their pockets at the time T.
Yeah.
Right. So if I bought this thing at 2 naira in Kano and I'm bringing it down to Lagos and maybe a policeman stops me and collects 300 naira for me, I just add it to it and it becomes so there's no real structure around food, which is the real problem of food inflation. But we are entering into harvest season.
Okay.
And I do not think the floods are significant, but I don't think the floods are significant. They've never really.
I mean, 36 million people were displaced last year.
So here's the thing: we produce far enough.
That's
food.
a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. Floods is actually very.
Wait. Let me put it this way. Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
The food wastage in Nigeria is at least 50% of what we produce. What we waste from what we produce. As in what we produce, then what we consume and what we waste. What we waste is about 50% of what we produce. A lot of it just
half of it
spoils in the farm. So there's
but that's an infrastructure problem.
That's what I'm saying, right? So the floods are significant, but not significant enough to affect supply to the market, especially in harvest season. Harvest season is a glut. They flood the market with food, and that's why prices fall. So I do not expect food inflation to continue to tick upwards towards the end of the year. Naturally, there's no time, and this is not the first time we've had.
There's no way floods doesn't make it worse. Sometimes.
There's no way. I feel like
so this is not the first time we've had floods.
When you don't have the infrastructure, you don't have storage, and you don't have roads. The water is already flowing away all the roads that you won't have.
I think it was around 20. I'm trying to think of the exact year where we had this type of floods.
2024? 2024 was huge.
No. 2024 was not this big. I'm talking about, I think it was probably 2019, 2018.
Okay.
Between 2018 and 2020, we had significant amount of floods like this. It was significant. Same way. Yes, it did affect food production, but it wasn't enough not to have food prices drop, because the production was still huge. And we do produce a large amount of food in Nigeria. We just need to be able to structure it in such a way that it lasts for the entire year. If we can do that, then food inflation numbers will not be as elastic as they are. But right now, that's the problem. So, I mean, we'll come back to this, but you will see I told you that
my point is,
it's unlikely to.
I hear you, but
it's unlikely to rise.
I think if there's anything that's going to impact food inflation more, is crude oil prices or fuel prices.
Bam!
So
But
if fuel
you'll
prices,
be shocked, right? How much? Because if we talk about crude oil prices, we had a massive crash in crude oil prices, but food inflation still spiked.
yeah, because fuel prices are still sticky. They are still up. They've not come down.
I just explained
But
it to you.
We were
Arnold.
at
I just
890 or
explained it
8
to you.
something.
The woman selling
when we were
Gary,
decelerating, it was at
the woman selling
800
Gary
or
has no
something.
structure. The woman selling Gary has no structure to how she prices her Gary. It is how much I bought it last time.
Yeah.
And looking at how much I can buy it again, and add my cost.
Exactly.
That's how she
I'm not
does
saying
it.
transportation cost is not in food inflation.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that the infrastructure and the impact from floods should not be discounted from food inflation.
I'm not discounting it. I'm not discounting it, but I'm saying that it is not enough.
And remember
to
now,
uptick
if oil
in
prices
food
go back
inflation.
up, which they are going back up, and in my view, oil prices continue to rise up because this summer I don't see any halts to U.S. Iran, right? I think we get the nice spike.
Also, I don't think we'll see a spike.
You don't think we'll see a spike?
I don't think we'll see a spike.
In food inflation.
No.
In crude oil prices.
Crude oil prices.
Why? What's going to mitigate it?
Hasn't
It has not gone up already.
It's gone up.
It's
Now,
up
what
like
percent? It's
like
88.
20%.
It's up like 20% already.
Yeah.
We expect it to be a lot higher.
Probably going to hit 100 if they keep bombing each
Which
other.
they will.
So let's
They were
say this,
bombing each
right?
other.
And you've
last
seen it,
night.
yeah.
Let's say
They
this
bomb each
right.
other
Let's
last
say
night. So
this
Monday
right.
we get
Let's say
another
this right.
spike. On Monday.
$100 per barrel is a significant spike, right? But we see how difficult it is to get to $100.
No,
per
no,
barrel,
we actually see
despite
how easy it is
the
to get
bombings.
to.
How now?
We're going to be in 100 next week.
It dropped back to 70. It's been
It dropped back
trickling
because of
up.
the
Because of the
ceasefire.
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 That's how easy it
There's no
is. It's
ceasefire.
not a supply issue. It's a perception issue.
Yeah, but regardless, perception is markets, right?
No,
There's
but
a-
there is. I mean, if they shut
There's
the
less
Strait
ship
of Hormuz,
going through the
there's less
streets.
ships
So if
going out,
a
there will be an
ceasefire
impact
is
on
enough to
supply.
drop prices,
Yeah.
No, but there were a lot of ships going through in that period.
And now what you're seeing is
There's
ships
a lot
have
of
actually
ships going
collapsed to, I would say, an average of
Like,
36 weeks to now 11.
Yeah.
Right, it's only 11.
even at
And
the
then
height
they're
of
gonna-
It's probably going to get worse.
even at the height
It's
of
gonna
the
get- it's gonna get
crisis,
worse.
when the whole thing started,
Yeah.
which was more escalated, which was more intense at the time.
Yeah.
How much were oil prices?
I don't understand. 100 or 120?
110, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the height of it.
Yeah.
I
Which is
don't
what I
think
said
we're
You're
going
saying
to
it's not
see-
high enough?
No,
That's
I
what I'm
don't
saying,
think
like,
we're going to ever
I
see
want
anything
to-
higher
No,
than
no,
that.
but I don't think that crude oil prices need to get to $150 for there to be damage.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah.
has to stay there long.
Yeah, it just needs to be at
Put it in the-
that. Even $90 is bad for the economy.
Yeah.
Very bad.
But guys, let's even
For economy,
for our economy. That's what I'm saying.
so the micro, the macro.
Micro.
Let's be, okay. The
Micro.
yes. The micro.
For the micro. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
And this kind of takes us to interest rates as well.
Yeah.
And the impact that has on inflation. How long are we going to keep on with long interest
High
rate?
interest
With high interest rate. I mean, we've talked about this
Nigeria,
several times.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it stays on. NBC is next week.
So the thing is that we're seeing high interest rates.
Yeah.
Exchange rate is stable. Reserves at all-time high, 17 or so, 17 plus years high. Is this the norm? Is this like what we should accept as
Ask
best we
Arnold.
can get?
No.
Ask Arnold.
Like let's not even bother, because I mean,
No.
when you ask this question, people tell you, well, it's either you sacrifice the exchange rate,
Yeah.
right, and
Or you lose foreign
and
investors.
and monetary policy stability,
Yeah.
or you go for lower interest rates. You can't have it all.
If not for the war, the CBN would have probably started easing this year properly, right? Now they'll probably just hold, right?
Hmm.
But if not for so no, it's not permanent. This is there's a crisis.
How do you define permanent? 3 years now? Isn't that permanent?
No, but
already?
we're in a
but-
crisis now.
Yeah, we're in a crisis.
We're in a crisis.
I know.
We
you
were in a
hope.
crisis
Which
now.
takes us back to
I
the
don't
original
understand.
point.
You
Which takes us back to the original point. So the crisis now is the norm. So the crisis is like we're now, like
Is
I
there a
said,
world
we're
without
going to be in a
crisis?
perpetual
It's
crisis.
almost like it's regardless of
Of this-
crisis, we should have low interest rates.
No. I'm
Regardless
saying,
of crisis,
I'm
we
saying,
should have
what
a
are
plan.
the alternative
We should
solutions
have a
now?
plan.
Because we're now in. It's obvious that we're going to be in G0 perpetual crisis. Different
Yeah.
people causing problems all around the world,
Yeah.
and it's a
China,
smaller world now
Taiwan next.
globally in terms of globalization. So
Yeah.
things start to
Yeah.
get to affect everyone. So before it was, Ukraine, Russia, food prices,
Yeah.
sticky. Now Iran, you don't know what's going to happen
Tomorrow it
next.
might be-
so
Fair
so
enough.
we're
China,
obviously going to be
Taiwan,
this.
China, Taiwan, yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to
But-
explain to our
but-
audience.
but
Like,
they-
if this is the norm,
Yeah.
Okay.
right, and
We're going to
we're
just
saying we
dive
don't want a CBN that
Yeah.
does what
Yeah.
the Emefiele CBN did.
Yeah.
What's the alternative?
Should we now accept high interest rate? Should we build around a high interest rate, high inflation?
Can I say this? If we look at, because to your point about, yes, perpetual crisis, are we going to keep doing the same thing?
Yeah.
Think about how much better off Nigeria is today versus 2022.
In
Right.
terms of
In
what?
the
In
macros.
terms of
How
what?
much?
Better
Macros.
off.
Yeah.
Macro wise,
Nigeria, not
yeah,
just Nigeria,
yeah,
but
yeah.
most of Africa.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
were better off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Macro wise, yeah.
Which has meant, if you look at, so Ghana, for example, was at 54% inflation at the end of 2022.
But they are single
Right.
digits now.
They're 3.7.
Yeah.
They've gone up from 3.7 to 3.9, or
Yeah.
3.3 to 3.7, sorry,
Yeah.
since the war started.
Yeah.
So how come they are there and we're not?
My point is we are, but we're at 15 point something inflation. We were at
After
20
rebasing.
something. I know, it's true. The Nigerian numbers are unclear because
Yeah.
we don't know what to compare it to.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
There shall
the
be no
point
slander
is,
against
the point
NGS.
is, in 2022, what was happening to the currency? It was not. It was depreciating.
Yeah.
Naira has appreciated since the beginning of the year, despite the war. Naira has appreciated. So my point is,
Yeah, it
there
has.
is a difference. The better macros, the better FX buffers, the better fiscal buffers has made a difference in terms of the resilience, even for the average person.
So that's
right?
what.
And I'm saying, so yes, interest rates will stay high, but the more you've built up your buffers, the easier it is for you to be flexible, even as new crises come. So now that we're talking 53 billion FX reserve, right? It gives Nigeria more flexibility for
To
the
do
next
what
crisis.
exactly?
Okay, so
Right?
To do what they're
You
doing now,
don't-
which is help
meaning
the
you
currency.
don't
Wait now,
have
so
to
Arnold.
keep interest rates so high.
Arnold.
Told you, I don't
forever.
think
Arnold,
it's
hold on.
the central bank
Hold
and
on,
policymakers
hold on.
enough
Hold on.
credits.
Imagine
Hold on,
if
let
you
her
have
finish.
100 billion in FX reserve.
Okay.
You can even ease on inflation and not worry about exiting, because if they exit,
Let's paint a
you have
scenario.
enough money
Let's paint the scenario.
to allow them to
CBN
exit.
governor,
Or FPX
President
exit.
Tinubu.
Yeah,
You're celebrating $60 billion reserves,
celebrating.
exchange rate stable.
Yeah.
All year. You don't even want it to appreciate for obvious reasons, but stable and all that. We're the Nigerians here. How does this help my life?
What do you mean?
Stable exchange rate, $50 billion or $60 billion in external reserves.
In an import-led
What does it do for me?
economy,
Why?
in
Because
an import-led economy, what's the benefits of a
We're not
stable
an
economy?
That's what I'm
import-led
saying.
economy.
So-
what is the import led? What is the import led again?
Everything you're
We
wearing
are
right now
doing-
is
we're
everything
doing-
you
we're-
are
no,
right now.
Petrol.
is
Petrol was our
import.
biggest import.
Yeah.
Petrol was our biggest import.
Sorry,
It's
say
now
again?
being
Now we're
imported.
net exporters.
So
What's
what
this,
is
sorry?
what are we import?
I mean, we import a lot of
dependent?
things.
What are we-
Services, merchandise, manufacturing
I mean, crude is
equipment.
on that
No,
piece
but
of
to the
our-
question-
We import a lot of things.
Now.
But to
So my
answer-
question
but
is
to
that answer my question.
Good
What
question.
does it
In
mean
moderate inflation.
for the regular guys? Okay, so fine. Textbook
You would have what
textbook
inflation?
response in moderate inflation.
Yeah.
But guess what? I used to buy a bottle of water for maybe, I'm just calling this out of thin air now, 15 naira 3 years ago.
Yeah,
It's 120
you're
naira
talking through a
today.
crisis
And it
now.
keeps
You're
going.
talking through a
No, it's going up. It's going
It's
up.
going up, but it's not 15 naira to 1,000 naira.
Yeah,
But it's
exactly.
going
It's
up.
not being
It's
worked.
I don't want it to
900
go
naira
up.
to 1,000
I don't
naira.
want it to go up. Why should it go up?
Wait, hold on.
You're missing the
People
point
are
here.
forgetting-
I'm not missing-
Why should I buy?
hold
Wait now.
on, hold
Why
on.
should I buy?
Crisis.
Why should I buy
you do realize-
tomato? Hold on. Why should I
Okay.
buy tomato? 100 naira.
But
in
you're talking-
January.
he's talking crisis
And then
prices.
wait now.
Yeah.
You're just speaking.
Let him
Wait,
finish.
economics.
Okay, okay.
Why should I buy tomato?
Let
Hold
him
on,
finish.
Yeah.
I have exchange rate stable.
Yeah.
External reserve buffers good.
Yeah.
So macros excellent. You agree?
Yeah.
No problem.
Oh, I don't know.
Now-
About excellent, but
Okay.
okay,
Good.
good. Yeah.
Tomato 100 naira in January. I'm just using it as an example.
Yeah.
July 120.
Okay.
What has that got to do with anything?
Exchange rate.
Why is it?
What
why
has
is
it
that
got to do with
moderation?
exchange
Why is it
rates?
not?
Wait, what
why
do
is
you
it,
mean? What has it got to
so
do with
why are
exchange rate?
prices?
Tomato.
Why are prices?
Doesn't matter.
What are
Do you
the-
think
what
the
are the
tomato- do you
impacts,
think the tomato seller doesn't have expenses
So-
that they live in the economy?
No.
Of
So
course
what are
it's
the what are the
already-
what are
it's
the what are the
related.
inputs to the person's tomatoes that causes this? Because this is my problem. This is my problem, honestly. I greatly believe that there's no time we will not expect a crisis. Something will happen. In fact, a calm world scares me more than a world where we are settling America and Iran and Russia and Ukraine. Because a calm world means something is boiling under, and you might be in the center of the next geopolitical crisis, right? So at least it's clear and it's in front of everybody. My point is this, right? Exchange rate is stable. Fine, right? But keeping exchange rates as your end all and be all and hoping for trickle down economics, because that is what you are both explaining, which we both know doesn't work, right?
I don't-
Trickle down economics. If the macro is fine, somehow, the micro will benefit from it. Am I wrong?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay, so what are you saying?
I mean, obviously, macroeconomic stability is a prerequisite to anything else. It doesn't mean it's the only thing you do.
Okay.
You have to start there. Yes. Does there need to be other, a significant focus on improving agricultural productivity, infrastructure? Yes, we need all those things. Right? We need all those things. But I want to come back to your question, and we can talk more about that. Yes, it's true. But I also don't think that's CBN's job. CBN is doing its job.
nobody's saying it's
should
CBN's
focus
job. Yeah,
on
it's not CBN's
price
job.
stability. And the government should I've always argued this, that there needs to be a very clearly articulated growth focus, and it should probably be focused on agriculture, and it should be an all of government. This is what we are targeting. This is how everybody should be talking about it. Whether it's, I don't know, if you want to pick certain crops, agro processing, but be very clear about it. We want to grow productivity by X amount, by X, and this is how we're going to do it. We're going to build roads. We're going to do a storage. I think that's all necessary.
I think we are aligned. My only issue, my major issue with what you were saying earlier is where we sort of believe that we have been able to, the sentence, we have been able to keep FX stable is somehow a painkiller for the pain Nigerians are going through.
No.
You get, we have been able to stabilize FX.
Nobody said
it's so, and
that's how it sounds like.
Nobody says stable.
That's how it sounds like.
It's annoying to the average Nigerian to hear,
No.
but FX is stable.
Our macros are good. We just said it here now. Our macros are good.
But I don't.
What the heck does that mean?
No, guys, but I
Macros
don't
should allow
think.
government intervention to take place.
Which
I
government
also
is
sometimes think that we play to the gallery too much.
No, it's not
okay.
gallery.
No, hold on. My point is, it's okay to say we're doing this right, but here's where we can still improve. Because sometimes it's like, once you start saying this is going well, then people are like, why are you saying this is going well? It's okay to acknowledge
I think this is the difference. I think this is the difference.
This is
I
what
think
we
this
need
is
to
the
do
difference.
next.
I think this is the difference, right? I think this is the difference. The difference is, to use the analogy that is always used on this show,
The cancer patients.
Cancer patients.
I think Amaka needs to understand the program.
So when we talk about the Nigerian economy, when we're talking about last year and saying that the CBN, the MPC needed to cut rates, and they were like, "Oh, Nigeria is a cancer patient; it's just recovering.
Yeah, exactly.
So you need to give it time. You don't want it to start." So So that analogy, right? Now, my child has been in critical condition.
Okay.
You've brought my child in, you stabilized my child, right? My child is still on the table, stable, but still in a coma,
Critical condition.
right? And I come into the room and I say, "Doctor, my child is still in a coma. What's going on?" You can't tell me, but we've stabilized your child. The vitals are now stable.
Why not?
I will punch you. At this point, I don't. Yes,
You
that was
prefer that the
good.
child would have been in critical condition?
The big
No, he's saying that.
Understand
you
that.
said
you
Understand
said
that.
you heal the child.
What,
now. You haven't
what
healed
my
the child.
what my
You
focus
just stabilize
is.
the child.
My focus
We shouldn't
is
celebrate.
on the child
I didn't agree
getting
with
up and leaving that place. That is my focus, right? Now, I do appreciate the fact that we've stabilized the child,
Exactly.
Yeah.
but that is not the end all.
Yeah.
And that doesn't
Nobody
concern
said-
me
nobody said
because
it's the end
no,
all,
that
though.
doesn't
But
concern
you-
me. But if you keep telling me
Yeah.
No.
in that, because
don't agree
it's
with
it's
So you're saying what's next,
it
right?
makes sense when you tell me the first time, sir, the worst is over. We've stabilized your child. That makes sense that time.
I think this
it makes sense.
I think I
even
even,
the next
I even
time.
have a better analogy for this, right? And the analogy is that, and that's why America is what it is at the end of the day. And as far as the regular American citizen is concerned, call it whatever you want to call it. Macros are good. Markets are up. Call it whatever you want. If gas prices are high, food prices expensive, cost of groceries are expensive, you have failed. And I kind of think that you have failed.
But I'm sorry.
These are the things that matter at the end of the day. So we can stay here and postulate on macros and all, which we all understand. We all understand these things.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, right, the larger story has to be, what is the path to
I agree with that.
lower cost of goods
What is the
and
path?
services?
Sorry, I
What
think
is the
you're
path
asking the
to
wrong question.
economic growth?
I think you're asking the wrong question.
Okay. What would have been the right question?
For me, prices are not going to come down. they're not going to come by that much. There's always going to be inflation. They're going to stop rising.
As
They're
quick
going
as-
to stop rising as
the
quick.
shouldn't rise.
But,
acceleration rate.
but no, you can't.
I don't even
grow-
want it to rise.
No, that's not you.
But that's not economic growth.
That's
now.
not growth.
If
Thank
look
you.
at the
Can I
companies,
finish?
your revenue,
Yeah.
I would explain, but
You
go on, let's-
cannot have
volume.
growth without prices going up.
Yeah.
You cannot have growth without inflation.
That's fine.
Because if there's growth, then people are spending more.
Exactly. That's
So what we want to be asking is, are wages going up?
Yes.
Good point.
Right? Are you creating more jobs? Not are
Good
prices
point.
going down. In fact, if prices are going down, you're making people poorer.
But it's a
So
chicken-
my-
but it's a chicken and egg.
That every time you pay for a goods that is higher, if your tailor is charging you 50,000 for the cloth that you used to pay 25,000, your tailor is making more money.
No,
So you
not
think-
necessarily.
No, hold on, let me finish.
Not
I know,
necessarily.
no, hold on.
Not
I know what you're
necessarily.
saying. Yes, his costs have gone up, but the point I'm making
On the cost
is
side.
that every time that you're paying more, that represents more income for somebody
someone.
else.
But your macro is not showing
So
that.
I'm not saying
You're
that
stuck
that
on
means
3.89%.
inflation. I'm saying,
We're in stagflation.
saying that by definition, growth involves inflation.
No, I agree. What I'm even
Because
saying-
you're
What
going
level
to
of
be
inflation?
more-
saying is-
yes,
no, wait,
we
we'll
need
go through it.
It's the
inflation
level
to
of
be
inflation.
lower.
It's the
We
level of
need
inflation.
inflation
So
to be
with
lower.
every price,
But that's
almost
why I'm
every
saying the
price in
focus should be on
Nigeria.
income.
Yes,
Not
yes,
on
yes,
prices
yes,
coming
yes,
down.
yes.
Every price in Nigeria, from transportation to real estate, is the price of the goods plus Nigeria's inefficiency. Every good,
The
every
inefficiency is
service
priced
in
in, of course,
Nigeria
yeah.
is
Always.
priced
Yeah,
in
yeah,
with
yeah.
inefficiency.
Yeah.
So the first thing we need to do is to remove, because we're talking about prices.
So that's
going
what
up
inflation
But isn't this tied to wages?
That's
though?
what she's.
Is
No,
there-
no, no, no. So
Yes.
if the wages conversation, right? Because you are now pursuing employers to pay a wage that is uncommensurate to the production levels that they are getting. So in a normal
So you're
economy,
saying- are you
think about-
arguing against wage
No,
growth?
I'm not
Yeah,
arguing
exactly.
against
I feel like you're arguing, yeah.
in a country. No, think about. No, let me explain it. So it's simple.
Yeah.
If I look at an employee,
Yeah.
and I see that the employee lives in X part of Lagos.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, there's no way this person can earn less than 300K. This doesn't make any sense for this person to earn less than 300K. And we arbitrarily put the person's wage at 300K,
Yeah.
right? Now, we are not paying generally for the person's talent. We are paying for the person's talent plus the inefficiencies of getting the person from his house to the office.
Yeah.
Do you get?
Yeah.
Right? Now, this has nothing to do with my organization. The inefficiencies that bring him to work every day has nothing to do with my work. Do you get? Now, my office.
I don't know.
Wait now.
Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, I'm listening,
my
I'm listening.
office is now delivering a service
Yeah.
and getting paid. Now, the person that is paying me, I'm having to add my workers' inefficiencies that he's experiencing and
That's normal
the
in a
inefficiencies
person.
I'm experiencing to the customer that I'm selling to. Do you get? Now, everybody is pricing in inefficiency everywhere. Now, the person that is getting paid, once those inefficiencies are removed, that 300K is not really the issue. It is the fact that by the time I enter bus from point A to point B, and then point B, there's no bus, they will just increase the price, and then that increases the amount he spends on a daily basis, on a monthly basis. So the context is, if we can remove the inefficiencies in the economy, clean them up,
How do we do that?
that is where I'm coming to. If you can remove the inefficiencies in the economy, first, the wages themselves, we don't even know where the wages should be because inefficiencies have riddled the things that take the wages to begin with, right? So now let's come back to the inefficiencies in the economy, which is where my issue with the people that will take glory for the macros come into play, because they're the only ones that can fix these inefficiencies.
Yeah.
Right?
We
I
need more
can't fix
rails.
it.
We need better roads. You need storage
and
facilities.
What's the timeline for all that?
No,
It's
care.
gonna happen overnight.
I don't care. I'm a citizen. I don't care. And that's the whole
It's
idea.
magic.
That's what I'm
Are we
saying.
gonna praise
Tell
into
me,
existence?
give me a plan.
It's how things should be done.
Give me a plan.
I don't
I agree with that one, but it's not gonna happen overnight.
I don't want to keep
It's not gonna
suffering.
happen overnight.
Do you understand? I don't want to see. People forget
But-
that. Let's remember,
Yeah.
Nigerians have been carrying the can
Let me carry it.
for years.
The can.
Yeah.
This is not a 3-year story.
No.
I think we're seeing it as this is just 3 years. No. Reform actually started from 2015.
Which Nigerians
All sorts
first?
of crazy reforms. Regular
Which
Nigerians, not
Nigerians?
you and I.
Okay, because the elite Nigerians
No, you
have
don't.
not been carrying any car.
Nobody talks about the
They
elites
don't
when
pay
you're- when you're saying
taxes.
this.
But they
Oh,
want
the
magic
elites are the ones
roads
that
to
even
come
pay
from
taxes.
anywhere.
Elites pay taxes. I don't think it's the elites that is the
There are
issue
many
here.
elites are not paying tax. I bet.
Maybe they're not paying
We can
enough,
talk about
but
that,
they pay
yeah.
taxes. And mind you, elites also are the ones that pave their roads. They pave the road to their house.
They're not paying
They
tax.
buy their generators. They pave their security. So that's a different conversation for another day. But my point is, the people that matter here is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And that's why I think one of the very first episodes or first few episodes we had the Drinks and Max, we were like, I think it was Tunji who said it, go big or go home. What's the growth agenda beyond $1 trillion economy? That's $1 trillion economy. How?
Yeah, I agree with
What
that.
are we going to do?
That I agree with. I
Are
think
we
need a
going to
better-
build sporting
clearer
facilities? Is that the way? Is it tourism that is going to grow it?
Yeah.
Is it
I agree with
export? Because obviously not exports, because we're not exporting beyond petrol, beyond fuel, and that's the private sector driven initiative.
Yeah.
So if it's agro exports, what is the, and that's what I keep saying. I'm like, what's the benchmark that we should measure you by?
Yeah.
Are you telling us that in 2024, agro exports, based on these policies that we've done, should be doing 10-15% annually and blah, 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 blah? Also, what is our intra-Africa trade policy?
Yeah.
So how much export, how much business should we be doing within Africa? Funny enough, we do ECOWAS, Nigeria, and ECOWAS trade with Nigeria is second largest now after China, funny enough, which is quite impressive too.
Yeah.
But then are all these things deliberate actions of the government to ensure that these things are going? And is there a way of measuring it? So I kind of feel like these are the things that are lacking. So when we talk about macro, those things are just.
It doesn't mean you
Amaka,
don't talk about it.
if I come to you,
Sorry.
going back to the analogy of my child on the table, right? If I come to you and I'm like, I'm still panicking, doctor, what's going on with my child?
Yeah.
And you're like, we're trying this new therapy, and if it's still experimental. We're not really sure how it's going to work out, but we've seen that it has an 80% chance of reviving the child. She'll be able to walk again. She did this. This is hope.
Yeah.
My child may still be on the table, but this is hope. I have something to hold on to. But if you keep telling me, but the child is stable, the child has been stable since last week.
Yeah. I agree
At this
with
point,
that.
I'm ready to punch you now. I'm now going to get physical. You know?
Yeah, but I think people are not listening. That's why I say it has to be a whole of government, and you have to reiterate the message over and over. New finance minister was just at somewhere in Lagos saying, these are our priority sectors. We're going to do digital. We're going to focus on agro processing.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, like these are the things
so
we're going to do. Right?
Child now.
So it's the doctor telling you these are the things we're going to try, right? But it has to be to your. I think it has to be, for me, it has to be a coordinated all of government approach.
Yeah.
Right? It has to be. Agri minister will come and say the same thing.
Yeah.
This is what we are doing in the agri sector. That lines up into what Taiwo is saying. And then the digital minister will come and they should all get talking points
And they shouldn't just
feed
say
into
it.
I know, but they'll
They
be
need to
doing
show
it.
working.
That's what I'm saying. It has to be
They need to
You
coordinated.
can say whatever you want to
It
say.
has to be coordinated.
You can do whatever you want to
Yeah,
do.
because
needs
the
to be
macro has to be
coordinated.
gotten
It
right.
has to be coordinated.
No,
I
If
agree
the
with
macro
you.
has to be gotten right, the macro has to
let me
be.
tell you this.
You can't discount the fact that the macro
You
has to
can't
be
discount
gotten
it.
right.
There
You have
is
to
no-
first of
I
all
would still
stabilize
say
the child.
stabilize
Almost-
the child.
yeah.
And then this is what we're doing. Yeah.
But the macro is stabilized now. It's been stabilized for 2 years now. That's the point. So are we going to keep? Are we going to? I mean, are we settling for
It
that?
almost
2 years
feels.
is not that long.
It is long.
Am I the only
What?
one? Am I the only one that feels
It's not
that
that long.
we're trying to set ourselves up as the FPI economy without a focus for the future? Because
I don't
that
understand what
seems
you
to be all we are focused on, trying to attract the FPI to keep going in and coming
Why
out.
do you think that's all Nigeria?
Because that's isn't that what we are
Yeah, but
setting rates
90%
at?
of the so-called
Isn't that what we're doing with
capital importation is?
That's it now.
yeah, that's
going
the
into more
reality.
markets.
But why do you
Yeah.
think that's the...
And that's a success.
If that is what you have, if that is what you have successfully achieved over 3 decades,
Because that's
then
the
this is
easy
no
part.
more a mistake. It is now the design.
Yeah.
Over 3
Decades. If it is,
decades.
It is now the
Why are we
design.
talking about decades?
You know what's petrifying in all of
3
this,
years.
Amaka? You know what's petrifying, right?
no, 3 years.
There's been a lot of
This happened under Sanusi, right?
So
FPI.
you're saying that...
FPI importation. This happened under Okay, Murphy, not so much because, I mean, yeah, we understood. But this has been a consistent theme, keeping interest rates high, bringing capital flows into the country. It's now no longer a mistake. This is the design.
So that's why I'm saying that the macro conversation, and this sort of segues us into what sort of, I mean, as business people, as people in the economy, what do we want to hear from presidential aspirants? Because, I mean, elections start in August, September. What should be the conversation? What should their conversation be around the economy? I mean, because you're not going to come and tell us, oh, we want to stabilize the economy. We want to stabilize the macro. That's not what you're going to come and tell us. So what exactly do you want to hear?
I want to hear a plan. Anyway,
what do you want to hear?
Is it in terms of a sector-specific plan?
I don't know. Economically,
It could be.
I think
the economy in general. What do you want to hear? What should be? What mandate would you hear from anyone?
Yeah, for me, I mean, a plan.
That you say, okay, this guy looks serious.
Yeah, a plan in general makes sense, but then I'll break things down to sectors and what each sector needs. Right? I'm a huge advocate for manufacturing. I mean, first of all, power has been my thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like we need to figure out this power issue. Power, as it is right now, is a huge cost and huge burden to businesses, to people, to every single person. So power for me is a big deal. But manufacturing, being able to incentivize lending is something that's big for me, right? Because I think lending now trickles down into...
How do you incentivize lending?
Incentivize? How do you incentivize? Perhaps the central bank finds a way to get banks to lend to a particular sector, or finds a way to
They've done that
to
before.
lend.
It didn't work.
It didn't work because of several issues that came about from whatever the mechanics was.
So you want the central bank to coerce?
So you guys know I'm a huge advocate for financial repression in the sense that you get banks to coerce. You get the central bank coerces banks to actually lend to sectors that benefit the economy, whether it's services, manufacturing, or in the power sector.
But there's a reason
Those
why banks are not doing that.
Sorry, banks aren't doing that. No,
There's a reason
Banks-
why they are not doing that.
Why aren't they doing that?
The risk, the cost of risk.
That's what I'm saying. If the government
It's
can,
high. Today,
which is laughing because hey, I'm about to fall into this trap.
Yeah,
Well,
today, Arnold, you lend to a Mr. Tunji or Mr. Ugo, you lend him $500 million, $1 billion, he doesn't pay, he takes you to court, you guys drag it for 2 years, the bank takes it right down, shareholders suffer, and then nothing happens.
But wait,
guy's a worst case
That's
now
happening now.
You're doing a worst case scenario.
You're shifting from the question.
worst case
'cause
scenario.
I just wanted
He's
to...
asking
Yeah,
questions.
but you did a worst case scenario. Worst case scenario
I don't want
situation
political
now.
response.
So the
Can I
closest.
tell you what I want to hear?
What do you want to hear?
I want to hear the how, specifics of
Yeah.
the how,
Yeah.
right?
That's
And
what I'm
I
asking.
want, and when I say especially,
Of what how?
the how you're going to grow the economy. And I want to hear trade-offs.
Wages seem
I
to be
wanna
important to
hear
you. So
what
how
trade-offs are
if
you
somebody
going
comes
to
and
make?
says, if one of the aspirants comes and says, well, I want to tackle wages, what's
They're
on
not
how?
going to say, what does that even mean, tackle wages? No, what you need to do as an aspirant is tell me about where you're going to focus government investment. Because what the government can do, there are only a few things government can do. Government can invest in enabling infrastructure, like port facilities that could help, or you can invest in roads or irrigation or storage, the things that will help with agricultural productivity, or the things that will help with manufacturing, like ports, right? That's where government should be playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to see that you understand those things, that you understand how an economy works. Don't come and tell me we'll move from consumption to
production.
I don't know what that means.
It feels like right.
You can say it.
Yeah, being a
But
rapper.
tell me how we're going to make that move, because it's very high level. It's very,
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I didn't say that.
so how do we also move to a $1 trillion economy? Because that's another soundbite.
Yes,
we hear.
exactly.
I think the closest
Tell
to-
me what you're focusing on. For me, what I see this government doing that they should articulate if I were them is we're going to focus on oil and gas, which is a place where we already have a supply chain developing.
Yeah.
Right? From upstream to downstream. You have indigenous Nigerian oil companies that now control over half of Nigeria's oil production. And we're facilitating a shift away from IOCs to them, which brings money into Nigerians' hands because it's
But 3
ownership,
years down the line,
right?
we're still at 1.3, 1.4. But go on.
No, but now we're at 1.5, right? The last time.
We should be at 1.8.
Yeah, I know, but there's
You've had
at
3
least
years
there's
already.
movement in the right direction. So I'm saying this is what I want you to focus on, building out this this value chain that's already there.
Okay.
Building out refineries, because now it's not just Dangote's refinery. There's, Seplat has a refinery, Arden has, build out the petrochemical sector. Now you have, the more that you have petrochemicals, it helps manufacturing, because there's some petrochemicals 100%. That they need. Yeah. Now that means less FX exposure for them. This is all stuff that is happening, right? You can focus on, and then mining. I think there should be a government focus on building out mining, invest in geological surveys to see what we have and where we have it. That will be the basis of attracting investments into your mining sector, because Nigeria has rare earths.
Yeah.
So you think mining
now in this environment with Iran war, where they're depleting defense systems left and right, they need critical minerals to rebuild all this stuff.
So is it 2 or 3?
To diversify.
You said
I've just said 2. I've only
mining
said 2.
and oil.
I've said mining and oil and gas.
So natural resources.
So because the reason I'm saying those 2 things is because you've already built out almost a domestic supply chain in oil and gas. So zoning, now focus on the gas side. Zoning, it's working. You're already attracting investment in this sector. Zoning, it's working. Remind us how it's working, and tell us what you're going to do next. Zoning or mining, and then tell us what you're going to do in agriculture. For me, that's what I want to hear. Those 3 things.
Okay.
Don't tell me you're going to do everything, manufacturing, Don't give me the 10-point plan, because I won't remember which one is which again. Just tell me 3 things. Specific things of what you're going to do. No, seriously. I'll remember those 3 things.
Sunji,
I think...
What's yours?
The quality of political discourse in Nigeria has really dropped off from the time of President Obasanjo.
What do you mean political discourse? What do you mean, sorry?
As in the quality of the conversations around political conversations has really dropped off.
I think it's opposite, but go ahead.
The quantity hasn't dropped off.
The quantity has increased, but I'm saying the quality.
Yeah.
The quality.
So you're saying the quality of leaders?
No, the quality of the
conversations. Yeah.
You're saying it's worse now.
The debate.
Yeah, so. Yes, no. Look at the. Anyway, let me not go into those conversations.
Go in.
But look at a lot of what President Obasanjo was trying to do without actually saying a lot. He was trying to industrialize a large part of the economy. And for me, that context still remains. Power, transport, food. And when I mean food, I'm talking storage. I'm focused on those 3 things. We need to get power right, we need to get transportation right, and we need to get food distribution right. Once we get those 3 right, the salary issue that we're talking about, wages, we can then know what wages really mean to the person.
Yeah. Do
you get?
Yeah.
So, and even me, when I'm charging for my service to you, I can now remove all the Nigerianness from my wage bill or my OPEX bill, and then I can really know what my service is worth, right? So I think that should be the core. And if you fix power, and I think we already have a template to doing it. Honestly, this is actually hilarious, right? So imagine if a president had coming off the back of, I will make importing fuel a thing of the past. Right? Now, everybody's going to look at it from the perspective that, but it was Dangote that did it. Yes, now it's somebody that would do it. It's not government. Do you get? Somebody will do it, right? But it is now the job of the government to, one, find those people who can do it, who have the capacity to do it, who have the interest and the ability, the thirst to do it. Yeah. Then give them the kind of support that they need to make it happen, because they are not going to do it. Now, Dangote did not set up this refinery all by himself. He got support of banks, investors, government, everybody. We came together, we built this refinery. We've stopped importing fuel.
Can I ask you, when you say fix, you said power, food,
transportation.
Okay. When you say fix power, what does that mean? How do you fix power generation? How do you fix power?
So this is one thing I said back then. This is one thing I said back then when we're decentralizing and selling the Gencos, the Discos. And I said the one thing you needed to sell first was the transmission. Now, I generally feel that the transmission grid in Nigeria, for all the flack it gets, can be repurposed to do different things. And
sorry, so you're saying the fix is to sell the transmission?
Yes.
Okay, but we sold the discos
Yeah.
and the gencos.
Yes.
And the people that bought the discos don't have money to invest in the discos to improve. Why do you think
No. I'm saying the distribution. So what I'm saying is so what I'm saying is that in that transmission, right?
Yeah.
If we decentralize transmission to the point where I am a disco, I'm in Ikeja, for instance, right? And I am availed to build my own distribution within my conclave, right? I am built and I am mandated, I'm able to do it. Yeah. So if I take power to Amaka's house, I can charge Amaka what I want to charge Amaka based on how I got the power to Amaka.
That's distribution.
That's distribution. Transmission is what starts the distribution.
I know, but
now. So because if a disco generates more than a certain amount, it needs to push it here, Abi.
Yeah.
So I'm saying let's bypass that here for a first level, my house, your house. And we have people doing that at small levels, but they are scared to grow because once they grow past a certain point, they have to do those things. I think there are now new laws that are enabling that, but that's the first place I think we should have started, instead of wasting all the energy we did in trying to fix a dead system in terms of that transmission part.
I will push back on this, right? Because I always say, when people say fixed power, it's not that easy to fix power. Because fixing power, I know it's not. But the point I'm making, you almost can't fix power without growing the economy, right?
Without growing the economy. Okay.
This is what I mean. A huge part of the problem with the power sector is liquidity challenges, right? So you don't have enough money. What did you say?
High interest
rates.
You don't have enough money to invest in the infrastructure you need to improve the grid itself, which requires hardcore.
The grid still belongs to the government now.
Exactly. Yes, but people keep saying, I do not believe in selling the grid, selling the transmission line, because the level of investment it requires will not be spent by private sector people.
Good point.
I'm sorry. Nowhere in the world has that ever happened.
Good point.
Even the distribution companies now are not making the investment in improving the distribution line.
Then allow people to do it without the grid.
People are doing that already. People are building
and in small scales.
People are buying, off-scale little, what do they call them? Estate here, estate there. But the point I'm making is, because sometimes when we say they should come in and fix power, it's as if that's the agenda in itself, right? No, I hear you, but I just want us to remember
my
that
analogy.
You also need to have, first, I think the government needs to have money to invest in that grid, to improve the grid transmission, and then, to even get more electricity to the discos, right?
No.
There needs to be a significant upgrade of the grid itself.
Anybody that had used Dangote
and then you need
as
to
a campaign,
make sure people, and then you need to make sure that the people who are buying the power can pay for it.
There are people who are paying now.
Who
pays like 400 naira per kilowatt.
There are people who are paying.
Yeah.
7 now,
band
750.
You're in band A.
No, it's a band something.
The band does not work.
The
band does not ever work.
So my point is this, right? No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying government should spend money. I'm saying that 10 years ago, let me stretch a bit further. 15 years ago, if we had been talking about petrol refining in Nigeria, right? And we said somebody was going to be able to cough up $20 billion to build a refinery in Nigeria, none of us would have believed. Today is now something we are so comfortable with that the guy is raising money to build a second one, right?
Yeah.
I say that it is not the government's job to find the money to do it. It is the government's job to...
No, yeah.
Well?
Not with something, not a public infrastructure.
I'm not saying leave the grid. I'm saying privatize the ability to get to distribution. I can produce as much as I want to produce and distribute as much as I want to produce, as long as I do it within the regulations you've given me. Now let
It's
the
not
grid.
private infrastructure. You cannot build private grid lines. You can't have everybody building their private grid
But
lines.
it's true. It can work within a framework. It's not that complex.
It's like saying everybody should go and build their road.
So let me try this. Let me try help.
Because that's
that's what I'm saying.
First of all, they do.
You're
First
saying
of all, they
they
do.
build the main road, somebody will come and build the main, and then everybody should build their own connecting lane.
It should be
No.
funded.
But
Let
you
me
license
try.
every
By
power.
government.
You license every power player, right?
No,
and you
this is
give
not
them.
it. It's
No.
private, it's
It's
public
not.
Can I explain?
It's not.
Can I
this is
explain?
all-
Can I explain?
Yeah.
So there's something I always say, and I always say that there's 24/7 power in Nigeria.
Yeah.
There is. If you want 24/7 power, just turn on your gen and fuel
Yeah.
it. It will run
Yeah.
24/7.
Oh, solar. Get your solar.
Whatever it is,
Yeah.
it will run.
But it shouldn't be the case. So
Wait
Shouldn't
now,
be
so
the
that's
case.
what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to explain to him.
Okay.
So the problem
Is the price.
is the scale of the power and the price.
Yeah.
It's at what price?
Meanwhile,
At
they
what
keep
price?
telling you that, or we keep telling you, because I've been in the power sector before that, we are not operating a cost reflective tariff.
Yeah.
That had always been the issue. But tariff has more than quadrupled in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
When I came into that sector, tariff was like 20 something naira, average 28, 29 naira or so per kilowatt hour. Today, band A is at 250 per kilowatt hour. So it's gone 10x, but it hasn't solved the problem. Okay? So I think the problem, and this is the power, is what Amaka said earlier, which is there is no funding. They don't have enough funding across the value chains,
Exactly.
whether it is distribution, whether it is transmission, whether it is generation. And it might surprise you to note that, I don't know how you guys saw this news, the Federal Electricity Regulator, NERC, announced last week that, they've seen an improvement in the collections that discos are making. And so, because they've seen the increase in the collection that discos are making, that discos that don't have debt, or that always meet their debt obligations, should now keep, I think, 30% or so of their collections in a dedicated infrastructure fund, which
good.
would be used to fund, I don't know what's good about that,
Yeah.
but we used to fund investments in
Well, you don't know what's good
upstream
about
and
that.
Why is
downstream.
that not good?
So I'll tell you what's not good about it. Because I know when regulators come like this, don't freaking tell me
What to
how
do with my
spend my
money?
It's not your business. You're not in my board.
I need us to
But because there are other ways. There are other ways.
No.
Let me tell you how to address it. now.
40%.
Exactly.
Why?
Exactly.
Why
You should
shouldn't
tell
they
them
tell
how to-
them?
yeah.
Good, so there's a board. Don't come on. You've privatized it already. Don't
It's
tell
not
me how to spend my money. You can tell me, for example, you can say, you know what?
Wait, but the CBN can tell banks to hold CRR.
No.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
different.
How
That
is
is
that
different.
different?
And I'll tell. Can I educate you?
You people know why? You see why we will not have lights?
Can I educate
There's no
you?
lights on
Let me
here.
educate
Please
you.
educate me.
We don't want to pay for lights.
So the central bank,
We don't want to pay for
the
lights.
central
care.
bank today
No, now.
collects deposit.
Uh-huh.
It's not revenue. The CBN is not telling discos.
What-
It's not telling banks.
What's to do with the revenue?
Keep X of your revenue. Or spend X amount of your revenue on capex. CBN is not saying that. CBN is saying the deposits is what they are sequestering, and they are not telling them how to spend it. It's sequestering. That's different. Discos. What next said
I don't know.
is.
There are
Hold on,
regulations on
hold on, let me
FX
explain
exposure.
now.
There are all sorts of
Let
regulations
me
on how they
explain.
spend their
Evidence as
money.
well. Control.
Oh my
sorts of
God!
money.
Yes. Okay, tell me which regulator in Nigeria tells you how to spend your money, where to put your money, in capex. Tell me, educate me. Tell me which one. One. Tell me which regulator tells you.
No.
Tell me which regulator tells you.
So
go and take
Amaka,
X amount of your money.
Amaka.
So my point is this:
Maybe they
I don't. The logic makes sense because there is truth in the fact that there are some discos who collect money, who should be investing some of that money in capex and are not doing it. That's true.
Yeah.
But you don't right a wrong with a wrong. What I had expected is, and that's been the problem with this sector, very poor regulation, is do you know that every tariff in the electricity sector is based on a building block? And that building block includes the amount you're meant to spend on capex.
But in a sense, sorry, I'm going
Hold on,
back to
let
this
me
regulation.
explain it to you.
This
So
thing's bugging
you need
me.
to understand
Okay,
it. That's what I'm
all
trying to
right.
explain. So
Okay.
just calm down, let me explain.
All right.
In the building block, you're meant to have capex.
Yeah.
So the way pricing is done in electricity is, I'll say, okay, how much should you spend in capex in the next 5 years? 100 billion. How much should you spend in operating expenses in the next 5 years? 80 billion. Okay, 180. How much should you spend in maybe debt, interest, and blah, blah, 20 billion? How much should I apportion for you for inflation? They'll calculate it maybe another 30 billion. So they build that cost. They now say, okay, on top of all that cost, let's say the cost comes to 200 billion. Okay, 10% or 20% of that is your return. That's how it's calculated. So what they should typically do is that after yearly, we come and look at, you're supposed to apportion a certain amount of your money as capex. If you don't apportion that amount of your money in capex, we will remove it from your tariff that you can earn.
And then you have different tariffs for different companies?
No, of course. So the point, which still happens today.
I still don't understand why.
Because today, because today, customers, you know how customers are billed? Why do you think you have band A, band B, band C, band D?
Yeah, exactly.
So the reason the people that are band D, they are band D because their tariff is lower.
Yes.
And because they get less light, 4 hours power.
Yeah,
so for that reason, they are on band D. So it's the same thing.
So
if this guy
indicates that there's restaurant and there's mama puts.
Guys, never, like, I think it's shameful if we that are business people sit here and say, government, Arnold, should government come and tell you how much you spend on capex?
You're looking at a sector
regardless
that's so
of what,
underdeveloped, right?
it doesn't matter.
Needs to be incentivized.
That's why I'm telling you that there are better incentives for that. And the incentive is, Oga, I'm the one who approves your tariff.
And in a sense, collectively,
you're saying each disco should have a different tariff.
That's what it is today, anyways. Discos have different tariffs.
Based on
they've never had the same tariffs. They've never had the same tariffs. They all have different tariffs, depending on your complexity. I told you how it's built already.
Yeah,
it's building blocks, so everybody has different tariffs.
Yeah.
Depending on your cost, because the cost of operating a disco in Kano is not the same as in Port Harcourt. So they all have different cost structures.
Yeah, of course.
And then they all have different energy as well, power. So that is also divided by the. That's why in Enugu, power is more expensive than in Lagos.
So why is the outcome so different for you? So you're saying the government should tell them to charge below cost, below what the cost reflective should be, because
it's not below cost. It's not below cost. Look at it. Let's see it this way.
But the government shouldn't tell them to invest.
Wait now, see it this way. See it this way.
I'm confused.
Wait, let me explain.
That's why I don't understand what the issue is with the government actually encouraging them, incentivizing them to invest in a sector that is underdeveloped.
See it this way. The people who sell these drinks operate in a very regulated environment. So this guy comes and says this drink is 1 million naira per bottle. Okay, ask you, how did you arrive at 1 million naira per bottle? Oh, 500k is this, 200k is this, 300k is this. And in that 1 million, I'm supposed to spend 200k on capex.
Over 5 years.
Over 5 years, which is 50-50, let's say 25 or whatever K per year. Okay. At the end of year 1, show me your capex spend. You didn't spend that money now. But you collected it.
Yeah. So I understand. Yeah.
So what I would do is that in your next year's tariff, I will remove it.
But it's not done annually. It hasn't been done annually.
That's what I'm
so far.
Good. So that's what I'm saying. So do what you're meant to do. Because do you know what's going to happen? You're going to end up having regulators coming to gobble up private sector money in one account and then telling them how to spend it.
You're not telling them how to spend it.
I feel like your solution is the same.
It's
so
not
now,
the same.
What if I'm the?
It's not the same.
Okay,
let's not encourage. Let's not give government ideas, bro.
No, for me,
it's
government ideas. It's a different style.
So now you're saying,
okay,
so guess what?
Hold on, no.
CBN. So why were you upset? Wait, why were you upset? Hold on. No, you've not. Why were you upset?
Let me ask the question.
Why were you upset?
Let me ask a question.
Why were you guys all upset?
Yeah.
Let me ask a question.
That Emefiele was telling banks how much to borrow. This industry, 1 billion, you must go there. SMEs, I think there was one time he had SME, whatever. SMEs, 30% of that.
Okay,
why was everybody going crazy about that?
If you're going to put it this way, when PenCom now tells pensions how to allocate capital,
that's different. That's different because it's not their money.
No, but
it's not their revenue. Capital allocation is not revenue allocation. That's my point. Don't mix it up.
It's not now.
Okay.
Don't mix up capital allocation and revenue allocation.
Regulator. So if I'm the disco, right? I've made a commitment to make certain investments over 5 years.
Exactly.
So now you want as a government to force me that I must do it in year 1. I've said I'll do it over 5 years. Is it not up to me to decide
That's why I
how
told
to
you. You need
allocate,
to understand how it
how
works.
to
If
do
you don't
my-
understand how it works, you will not know.
my
I've just
investment.
told you. That's why I said you need to understand how it works.
No,
How it works is that every year the amount of capex that you're meant to
analyze it
spend, yes. And in
over the
fact,
5
in
years.
fact, the MITO law, that's the multi-year tariff order, which
Yeah.
determines how tariffs are calculated, allows NEC to claw back. There's something called a clawback. So let's assume let me even tell you how wild it is.
Okay.
Let's assume that in a year, based on NEC's allocation of your revenue, you're supposed to make 100 billion naira in revenue. That's all you're meant to make. But for some reason, you made 120 billion. The next year, NEC will claw it back from your tariff. That's our law.
For
you don't
me,
know.
I agree. For
That's
me,
the law now.
You know, for
Because
me,
you're not supposed to earn more than a certain amount.
for me,
Yeah.
what you're
That's so
saying,
understand
for
this.
me, it reaches the same outcome. I'm okay with that.
No, it's not.
It reaches the same outcome because what you're doing effectively
Yeah.
is that you are requiring that they spend a certain amount on
Exactly,
capex.
but doing it the right way.
Because if they don't,
not regulator telling
will
you how to
reduce
spend
their
your
tariff.
money.
I don't know.
It's
A regulator,
the same now.
a regulator should not tell you.
I think in where it
regulator
is in the
should not
stage
tell
of
you.
development, it should happen. It should
See,
be
a
told.
regulator should not tell you to come. Anyway, let's move on.
similar
Let's move on. So
outcome.
my own areas that I kind of feel like maybe we need to see government. It might be similar, but it has
it's a
risk. My
similar
problem is the
outcome.
risk.
It's a different
That's what you guys are not
approach.
saying. No, it's a risk. Trust me.
Yeah. It's similar.
But my own issue is, I think the things that we need to sort out, I don't even think it's power, because power is, there are fundamental issues that whoever it is that comes, that people that are campaigning should come and tell us.
Yeah.
One, how do you solve transport, road problems, road networks? Yeah.
Okay.
These are the things that contribute to inflation.
What else is there to solve other than just spend money on it? Build it.
Spend the money now.
It's not just
How are
it's
you
not-
going to get money?
no.
Network roads,
And
because at the end of the day, the reason why somebody that lives in Ajangbadi cannot be at work early
Yeah.
is because of
No
roads.
mass transport.
Yeah.
There's no mass transport.
It's huge, it's huge, yeah.
Then two, insecurity.
Yeah.
Metro.
Insecurity. You cannot say you want to do 1 trillion economy
be
and you can't solve insecurity.
this also
Nothing's going to
affects,
happen. Education.
rent prices.
Education is big time.
How do you want to own your own inventions, your own value chain, your own creativity? That's what makes South Korea, US,
Yeah.
Vietnam. How do you do that?
Yeah.
You can't.
Something that worries me is our health sector.
Housing as well.
Yeah, housing.
Those ones are not even fundamental. Housing.
I think
No, I'm saying else is important, but I'm not saying it's not fundamental to it, because
I think
once you fix these problems, those things, because what
They
it
fall
does is
it.
that,
They
remember,
fall it.
it starts to unlock investment, which is the original problem.
Yeah.
Housing problem is these, and then the other one is social infrastructure, which is what you kind of spoke to earlier. Government has to, the focus on social infrastructure is important. That's why, see how rails private business are not going to invest in rails now.
No.
Not yet.
No.
We're not developed enough for them to start to invest in rails.
Yeah.
We're not developed enough for us to start to invest in roads.
Yeah.
So do all these things, then power sorts out. Because what will happen is that you start to bring down inflation, you bring down interest rates,
You see,
they
you-
borrow,
I have a slightly,
And then
I have
they
a
can
slightly,
fund.
I have a slightly different.
and then different
view
things start
of
to
that.
happen. And then we start to all these capital formation moves that we're doing now
Yeah.
start to make sense.
I have a slightly different view though,
Okay.
and this is going to sound very capitalist.
It's okay.
I think we just need to find people that have money to fix what we need to fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't like FPI now. When
Doesn't work
FPI
like
is
that.
No,
FPI.
that is FPI now. That's
FPI
how is
is
FPI?
FPI is
No, it doesn't.
FPI is FPI.
Investors that will fix insecurity.
I don't
Yeah,
think,
leads to
no, not
FDI.
FPI is
not
FPI.
FPI.
Is it for investors that will fix
No,
insecurity?
I'm talking about
You're talking
things
about
you said. No, you
social
said,
infrastructure.
yeah, social infrastructure like rail.
Yeah.
Now the problem Nigerians generally have is that when I create the rail and I price it at a certain amount,
Thank you.
they are like,
Thank you.
these
Sorry,
two.
sorry.
That's
Mr.
why it will
Nigeria-
never
But
work.
that's solvable. But consumer credit,
That's
but
why
it's solvable.
private
Fix
will
that.
never
It's solvable.
work.
no,
It's
consumer
solvable.
credit will fix that.
No,
It's solvable.
I'll tell you why it will
Sorry,
never
Consumer
work.
credit will fix
I
it.
missed what
I'll
you
tell you
said.
why
I
I'll
missed
never
what
work.
you
Can I
said.
tell you why I'll never work?
Why won't it work?
Lekki Toll Road is a pure example of that.
Because-
what has happened to that road? Are they collecting tolls?
No. That
because-
was a
Because
different
they shut
issue.
it
That was a
down.
issue.
No,
That was
but
a different
it is
issue.
a political race.
No, yes, I agree.
In an
I agree.
economy that has 15% inflation, you're crazy as a private guy to go and be building roads there. Because guess what? Every year you should be raising your prices 15%.
I don't also agree in private building roads as well. I don't. I think it's responsible of the
And is
government.
that politically
that's what we talk about.
sustainable
Yeah.
to be raising your prices 15% every year for your roads?
Yeah.
No.
So I
So
think,
you're
and I think the way they are doing it now,
investment.
that's why.
Government has
So
to do
Tunji,
it.
the way to solve
Yeah,
this,
100%.
the way to
So
solve
no.
this, the way to
Again,
solve this-
there's no country in the world.
If you're raising
There's
prices
no
15 years, don't
there's
shut
no
down your
there's no
roads.
country in the world where there isn't public pushback on social infrastructure and
That's why-
pricing of social infrastructure.
why it's all
There's
funded
no
by
country.
government.
Now, the
All the
problem with Nigeria here, a lot of the times, is that when that public pushback comes, the government is unable to admit first of all that we need this thing to work, or else there'll be trouble. We don't have as much money as you think. 2,
Even if they're
now there are people watching all these things that we're doing right now. 3, which is the biggest part of it. Sorry, what did you say happened? Let's fix what the issue is. Because the Lekki toll gate issue, to begin with, there had been multiple conversations around it prior to the time that thing happened, and it wasn't even about the pricing. People were paying.
You
I still have
can
like
Lekki toll was the
10K.
legality of it.
I still have 10K in my account.
It's the legality
or
of
something
it.
like that. It's-
Because when you build a toll, intercity toll,
Yeah.
you provide alternatives.
Exactly.
There were no alternatives.
It almost seemed that
That's
people
the
were
problem.
The
road.
point I'm making is that it is not something that private investment.
I agree with you on that. I don't even. So
There's too many
I would rather
going to-
government borrows
Yeah.
from private
Government should
sector.
borrow and
Infrastructure
build that.
bonds can sort that out, which is
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, let the government take the risk.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But my point is that we've got to have social infrastructure. So again, that is why I'm looking for someone to come on paint it. I guess now that we have a
view
coordinated
of how to fix it.
a coordinating minister of the economy.
Yeah.
Do we?
With Taiwo now, yeah.
Yeah,
So
finance,
now that he's set up his own council,
Yeah.
maybe we might start to see things happen. Because
Yeah.
I've always said that who is behind a lot of the capital mobilization that is happening? Because you do need capital mobilization to do these things. So there is PENCOM on one hand trying to mobilize capital from the informal market
Yeah.
so that you can have a larger pension pool that can fund government projects. There is SEC who is requesting for asset managers to increase their capital. There is CBN who wants banks to increase their capital, by the way.
Holdco as well.
Yeah, holdcos and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So NICOM is, so there is all that, but there's nobody that's trying to make sense of what all these things mean. Why are
It
we
was
doing this?
to connect everything together.
Yes.
Yes.
There's nobody.
Yeah,
have
that's
you,
the issue.
have you
No
heard
one
anyone?
is actually.
What
There's
do you mean
no
no
one,
one
as
on
in-
the government side?
Yes.
Yes, that's right. No one is also
Everything. Yeah. There's no one.
No one is explaining why
Because
all this
like this is why we're
all the
doing this.
recaps
So
happening
for
there.
example, if you say, look,
and then what
I agree
happens?
with
we're trying to
Capital.
mobilize institutional capital, or we are targeting an institutional capital framework of 200 trillion. And in that 200 trillion, this is what we're going to do with it.
Yeah.
But you're here telling
20
us
will
that.
go to this,
Well,
15 will go to that.
Dre, aren't
Exactly.
you the person telling us that policyholders and regulators should not tell us where to put our capital?
No, that's different now. I said revenue, not capital. I said
Okay, revenue,
you can.
yeah,
Yeah, I said
yeah,
revenue.
yeah.
Don't tell me how to.
So remember what I said earlier?
You
Like,
can
No,
tax me. You can tax me.
And they use the tax.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There are different ways, but don't come on tell me
I
to
know.
declare.
Imagine if a presidential aspirant had come to office off the back of, I will stop petrol importation into Nigeria.
I will stop.
Petrol importation into Nigeria.
Okay.
Well,
I mean,
they claimed it now.
No, they can't.
Worry them, we're doing that
But
now. They said it. Go and listen.
Because the thing I see is that sometimes when we say government saying we will do this, almost sounds like we're saying government bring the money out of your pocket and do it. The government's job is to find how it works. If the person that fixes it is going to be China or the Netherlands, just get it done, right? But your job is to bring all the moving parts together to ensure that it works. Now, Dangote went to mobilize the capital. He went to get the investors. He's passionate about this project. The government doesn't even need to do anything. The government just needs to make sure that, anytime somebody gets to the embassy and says, I'm going to Dangote's refinery, give him visa. You know, those kind of things, right? Make it as easy as possible.
next big one now? Dangote.
Exactly. Dangote is done now. Those are the next one. And I think the next one, the one that any government would do that would easily affect the lives of Nigerians is the context of food. in terms of
why
storage.
government?
So
Why not?
if food prices
Which
crash,
is social infrastructure.
yes,
Yeah.
if food storage, if food
Even food transportation. Open
if food,
transportation.
so there's a particular. I can remember there was a military leader at some point. I keep hearing stories about him. You know, bringing in. There's this fish. They call it. Oh my God, I'm trying to remember that story now, but I remember my uncles used to talk fondly about it, that, you know, the guy, and this was me as a child, but as I was growing up, I started to understand what whoever the leader was, did at the time. But my uncles were
What did he
not
bring in the fish for?
enlightened enough.
What did he bring in the
You
fish
get-
for? Yeah.
So he was saying that, you know, he brought in this low-cost fish that priced the price of fish in the market. Dude just went somewhere, got, you know, leftover fish, you know, things that, you know, and brought it into the country, imported it. It made fish cheap to be able to buy. So
Okay.
people could go to the market and at least have a pot of soup.
Okay.
And they attributed it to the military leader, which he wasn't really doing anything spectacular, right?
So your point is,
we
your
can-
point is that the private sector has to step up. Okay.
No, so
that's
storage.
not how you're putting it.
in terms of storage,
Yeah.
there are private sector actors who want to plug into that
So
part
can
of
I
the
ask
economy.
this-
But there
can I
seems
ask
to
a
no
question?
what they are afraid of right now
Yeah.
is, one, there seems not to be any regulation around it.
Yeah, interesting.
Because
Yeah.
if I'm going to put my money into storage, what is protecting me?
Yeah.
What is keeping my
Land
you get
laws and
all those things? There's no regulation around it.
security.
Yeah, I see a pattern that I just want to call out, because it's not just here. I see a pattern in Nigerian discourse to your point about quality of discourse, which is we're a little bit inconsistent in how we think about the role of government.
Okay.
We're always talking about what government needs to do,
Yeah.
right, to drive development. And then on the other hand, we're always talking about government doing too much. Government shouldn't tell people what to
Because
do.
they're doing the wrong
Government
things.
shouldn't yes. But yet, all our conversation about
Yeah.
growth comes
Said,
back
oh,
to what should government be
Yeah,
doing?
so exactly.
But then when they try
That's the reason why I'm going.
Exactly. Why is government telling us what to do?
I get.
So
I'm
saying
sorry
there
on this
is
one.
there's an inherent inconsistency
No.
in the way
Is
we
that-
talk
is
about
that-
it. Can
is
I
that-
finish?
Absolutely
Can I
not,
just-
but let her
can I
finish.
finish?
I
Let me
understand.
finish.
Let her
Let me
finish.
finish.
Amaka's trying
Let me
to say. I
finish.
understand
And
what
now
Amaka's
my
trying to say.
question is,
Yes.
why aren't there more Dangotes? Because I think that we justifiably talk a lot about government. What should government be doing? But the private sector, Uncle, there is a lot of money in Nigeria,
Yeah.
people who are refusing to risk their capital on long-term growth projects because they are looking for easy money in treasuries, whatever.
Amaka reverse.
Why are they
Amaka
not?
reverse.
disagree,
Amaka-
and I will
Amaka-
tell
Why are
you
there
why.
not more
Reverse back.
Dangotes?
Wait,
My
wait.
question
I will
is,
tell
my
you.
question
Please,
is, why
I
are
need
there
to
no
know.
more
Amaka, reverse back
Dangotes?
first.
Why are there no more
Reverse
Dangotes?
back. Reverse back first.
Why are there no more
in this
Dangotes?
context, no, I will answer that one. In this context of what I just said about storage, how is it that I'm saying government should do, and I'm saying government should
No, it's not.
overreach?
It's a broader.
It's a rhetoric. It's
not-
general
a
rhetoric.
Okay, so it's not this
broader-
particular
no,
conversation. Okay,
it's
I get you that.
generally the.
Because I want you to
that
understand.
Should I tell you why
No,
there's-
let me tell you why there's
generally
no
that I keep
Dangote.
hearing.
Should I
It's
tell you why
not
there's
just
only one
about that I
Dangote?
keep hearing. Government, like
Should I tell you why
government
there's
should be
let me-
doing
let me
this,
answer
and then
you
no,
now.
government don't do
I want to
this.
answer you.
Yeah.
Do you know why there's only one Dangote?
Yes, why, please?
Because that's the only guy that can take on government
Why?
when they
For
mess up with his
now.
business.
Why? Why is he the only one in all of Nigeria? 250 million people.
Have you gone against government?
Did you not see
before?
what happened? Did you not see what
In all
happened?
of Nigeria, 250
Did
million
you
people.
not
There's
see?
nobody else.
Did you know? Were you not
What
seeing
is it?
what happened with his refinery? Did you not see it?
Yes. it's-
Were we not here?
So why is
did
there
you
nobody
know
else?
how much he spent fighting that thing? Did you know what he did? You need to sit down with him.
But
Do you know how much?
Industrialist
Do you know how much?
is hard work.
That's what I'm saying
Industrialization
now.
is hard work.
So
It's not
think
supposed
about,
to be
but this
easy.
is the aggregate of the
But that's the
aggregate
point
of,
I'm
aggregate
making.
of the many.
People who just
is what
want
happens.
easy money
It's
are not going to be
It's
done
not
with
true.
it.
Don't say that.
But that's what you're telling me. You're saying it's hard.
Amaka, I need to take
You're
you to.
saying
I need to
it's
take you
hard.
to. I need to take you to.
It's not supposed to
wait,
be
I need to
easy.
take you to trade fair. I went to trade fair complex a few months ago to get furniture, and I saw 3-4 story buildings of people, of one guy who runs a furniture. I don't know whether you've been to Oka Mall before. His furniture mall,
Yeah, I've
his
been to Oka.
furniture office,
yeah.
and that's just one of many.
Yeah.
It's as big as the furniture office in Oka Mall.
Because Oka.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Furniture alone.
Yeah.
Where
That's what
was
he
it?
does.
Yeah,
In
like-
trade
At
fair.
trade fair.
Interesting, yeah.
Now, I sat down, I spoke with him. We're going to do, in fact, I'm going to tell my guys to do a feature on this thing. I sat down, I spoke with him.
Yeah.
And I asked him a simple question. Man, how you did do this thing?
Yeah.
The bank, they give you loan. He fell down laughing. He said, which loan? Which loan? That he funds his LC himself or cash. But guess what, Arnold? That's just one guy that can manage fund his LC.
Yeah.
Have you seen the road leading to Trade Fair? Just go online and search Trade Fair Road. Trade Fair. That is the commercial nerve center. In fact, for all
industrial
the imports,
industrials.
like everything you see in Ikoyi, most of the things you see in Ikoyi, VI, other parts of the country, come through there. All these containers that you're seeing everywhere is there. There is not one single government presence. So what are you saying? And these are people doing business. It's Dangote you know now.
It's always unfair.
You're talking about people that you know.
Dangote is the
there
one
are
that
so many.
has achieved escape
So
velocity.
many. The road to that place. Is it
Talk
Ladikbo?
about it.
Is it Ladikbo? I was telling some guys who came in, some foreigners who came in recently, and they were looking at Nigeria and looking at how the economy and all that. I said, that is the kind of place that should be a complete tourist attraction.
Interesting.
I agree with
There
that.
is no, bro.
I agree with them. And we should
There
talk
is
more about
not-
them.
You've not seen
Electronics?
sectors in Nigeria where you'll be
Go to markets
participating
now.
in, where the people that are entrenched in the sector will be asking you, why are you still here? When even they that are supposed to be guardians of the industry don't believe that anybody is crazy enough to come into this space. Come on, there are too many people in Nigeria who, unfortunately, what we tend to see many of the time is when they've now tapped out. There's been no support year after year because this storage thing I'm talking about. Before 2010, there was a guy that was bullish, came back to Nigeria. I'm going to set up storage. The guy packed up, he left. 2015, there was another lady that was doing massive storage across the country. Same issue, packed up, left. Right, so there are people who are trying in their own small capacities. But the thing about it is that so one of the things I could explain to somebody that's trying to do storage now is, see, don't start until there's clear regulation. Because what these last two people died on.
Multiple
But
taxes.
other people are saying don't regulate. They don't want regulation.
No.
No. So what I mean by regulation? What I mean by regulation is
There are certain laws.
yes, now
that
those
allow
laws
you to operate.
exactly
that allow
allow
businesses to
business.
operate.
You
Yeah.
need that.
So if you don't have that, then
Allow
I mean,
guidelines.
and you can't have a
you need
business
those
anywhere that don't
Without-
exist without
Plus,
those
also
gu-
understand that
guardrails.
even if you're going to get funding, if you're going to get funding, regulation also plays a huge part in it.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're not regulated and you're going to meet the
guidelines.
so everybody's looking at you like super high
do I
risk.
know that?
Yeah, how do I now get my
Just-
money back?
Yeah.
You get
I was watching.
So your answer- so
I was
your
watching an
answer
Instagram
is-
post today. Sorry, watching an
There's
Instagram
lots of
post.
Dangote.
Very funny.
Yeah.
So the guy says that, that I mean, a bit hyperbolic though, but he says that Nigerian employees are thieves and all that.
I was about to watch that. I saw that.
Yeah, and then he was like, he says the reason is because that, for example, he has a delivery bikes. He runs I think a restaurant or so. He has delivery bikes, and then he sends them to go and buy fuel and all that. But he then notices a pattern. The fuel consumption from Mr. A is different from fuel consumption from Mr. B. Right, and then it's the same,
consumption, what do you mean?
for the bikes, yes.
For the
So the
what?
spending pattern are not, there's an
bikes.
anomaly for the bikes,
So
delivery
he runs a delivery business.
delivery motorbikes, yeah.
So some people are spending more.
Yeah, and then I mean, it's the same distance, so it's not working. So he can't really plan. And then he says, okay, you know what? Let me stop giving them cash, and he gives them
Voucher.
ATM cards. And then the thing was still happening. In fact, he then notices that there's usually a jostle for who will go and buy for.
Yeah.
Within the business, everybody wanted to buy for. Like, why was he going to buy for such a big business here?
Yeah.
And then one day he decides to go to the filling station and with his team, and then the attendant didn't know that he's the Oga.
Oga was here.
And the attendant was like, so I'm going to make a right now for this.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there are many, and honestly, the truth
yeah.
about it is that I honestly
So
who
is your
solved the problem?
answer? Is your answer that there are many Dangotes? We're just not talking about all of them.
no. We are
No,
talking
yeah.
about them.
I'm
We're
saying
government is not
there
creating
could
the-
have been a lot more
Okay.
Dangotes.
Okay. But what? But what's stopping them?
People don't have the right environment to operate. So the judiciary system is poor.
So who creates the environment? Though?
Yeah, they don't have social infrastructure.
So government doesn't need to
So
bring
that's
money.
why today.
But you're not
that's
answering
why
the question then.
What's your question?
My question is Dangote, and there are others like Dangote, so I don't want to make him the exception only. But Dangote exists in that imperfect system. Why aren't
Dangote
there?
has achieved
Let's talk
escape
more
velocity.
about more people like that who are existing. Don't tell me because it's almost like you're saying the answer is always like, well, I'm not gonna exaggerate. Get the perfect environment first, but we have to work and chew gum.
You see,
People need to be able to, we
understand
want more
is
people to be taking risks
what you don't
in
understand
this system
is
while the government is trying to improve it.
So it's
Otherwise,
almost
we're not
so.
gonna
I can as well flip the question and ask you, how come you don't have 20-something-year-olds owning banks again?
Owning banks.
Yeah, Elimelu and all of them were in their 20s, 30s when they owned banks.
Why?
Then it was cheaper to own a bank.
Yeah, why?
Exactly. So sometimes time and longevity makes it a lot more difficult. So the top becomes very narrow. So you can't have enough Dangote again because this Dangote that you're seeing has been working with several government agencies and government officials since the days of the military. So, and that is even funny enough, one of the attacks or the pitfalls or one of the things that people use against him, that he gets a lot of government favors.
So
people say that a lot. They say now he gets a lot of government favors. He gets low interest rate. He gets FX. He gets tax rebates. They say that a lot. So you can't have. So if you want to try and want to be like him, who will give you tax rebates?
To be fair,
Who will give you this
The
thing?
answer I give myself is that there are a lot of people like that.
There what?
There are a lot of people like Dangote.
It depends on what you buy.
And what I mean like him is who are putting money into productive use.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what we're saying.
Yes, who are regardless of
Yes,
their
but the point is that they can't be a Dangote. They can't scale to that level.
To be. Why not? Why not? They can eventually. Why not?
How now?
If they can try it, Abi.
That's what I'm telling you now.
It doesn't have to be everybody. You can have 10.
If they keep trying.
You can have 5.
Oh, we have
No, so
we have 10 now. We have 10 now.
That's
Wait.
still-
Yeah.
No. I don't think
all the bank founders are there. They are there
No,
now.
I
We
mean
know them.
production.
Well-
Not people who are moving money from one place to the other.
No,
The bank. We need
please,
that.
Please.
There are. There's
I will not take
boys
back
there.
slander. I will not
There are
take
so
back
many.
slander.
You probably just don't know
Even
them.
what we have done with
They
banking.
are.
If we
There
have
are.
done
You
with
probably
banking,
just don't know them. Not that. I mean, I don't know.
No,
when
you
you start
need
the
them in
scale.
different sectors. We
to
need
get
them in different
more.
Yeah,
sectors.
they probably
we
not
need
be
them.
at the scale.
Not
It's not
bad.
everybody that's at the scale of Elon Musk. But there are a lot of billionaires.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there are a lot
So
of
we
people
need
making impact.
we need more in agriculture.
Exactly.
We need
Yes, that's what you mean.
That's
Like, you
what I'm
guys are standouts.
Yeah.
What
in
I'm
different
saying
sectors.
is-
People
You
that
guys
will
are
take,
standouts.
you know,
So
Guys
I'm
that
not
take-
saying. I'm saying that we
Almost like
want
sector
to
leaders.
spend a lot of time talking about government
Yeah.
and what they need to do, and
So
I
we
think
should
that's
look at-
justifiable.
Yeah.
But I think we should also spend a little bit of more time talking about how private sector people should be rising to the task
Yeah,
in the difficult
regardless.
environment,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what other people are doing. I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
doing that, like people are already doing,
Yeah,
right? People
sure.
who are investing in, cashew processing, and there are different
Yeah.
people I know. who are doing all
I
those
think
things.
so.
But we need to talk about more of those.
I will
All right,
be
guys,
honest-
we need to-
I will be just quickly.
There's
I'll
no
be
time
honest.
again.
I'll be honest
Okay.
with them
Let's
because
move on.
I know that we have a lot of diaspora audience who are probably watching this, and many of them would have dipped their toe into the Nigerian space trying to come and fix something. The honest truth is that Nigeria is flogging a lot of people cane. As in, and people are chopping all kinds of cane despite
Like
their
mad.
belief
Mad.
in Nigeria.
Like mad.
As in, they are chopping their
definitely.
cane heavily. Now, the
Yeah.
people that succeed
High
to
risk,
the
high
end
reward.
sometimes are not the brightest. To be honest, they are just the ones
High
that
risk,
survive
high
to the
reward.
Anyway,
end.
let's close
So-
with because we have like less than 10 minutes left to go. So
okay.
let's look at Q2 outlook. Maybe I want to start with you, Arnold. What are you looking at? Inflation, interest rate direction, capital markets. Do you see capital market that comes back to grow? Do you see interest
globally
rates?
or Nigeria?
Nigeria.
Yeah. So I think inflation remains sticky. Probably inflation probably spikes up a little bit. I think the war brings back higher oil prices. We might end up going back to if the war lasts through the summer, which I think it does. before we can see another ceasefire. I think we see oil prices go back to the hundreds, high 90s, 100. And I think this trickles. This actually then spells the rest of the economy, right? So whether it's inflation, right? So we see a spike in inflation. I think food inflation is a problem. I think it's going to remain a problem until we see harvest isn't coming in September, October. I think MPC leave things unchanged next week or during the week or next week because inflation is at 15.91%. It's not a difference from 15.96%.
Capital markets.
That's the same thing. Capital markets. So capital markets, we've seen an interesting inflow. We've seen an interesting increase in pension assets, right? And I'm trying to figure out how much of that increase in pension assets is new retiree money coming in. I know we've had like 1 million or so.
It is.
Okay.
Because I don't know what you're saying.
I think that feeds into capital markets.
I don't know what you're saying. Well,
So you still expect a bullish capital market then?
Yeah, or moderately bullish. Capital market is a hard one because we've seen 50% year to date, right? It's a tough one, but I think we see an increase in prices.
I'm so bullish. I'm so bullish because I think that this
That's why the geopolitical risk
issue. Yeah, because I think Nigeria is fundamentally a growth economy. I think assets are still fairly undervalued just after 10 years of nothing happening that much. I think that this FTSE issue will probably be resolved and Nigeria will still end up on the frontier index, which will continue the rally. So yeah, and I don't know, I think inflation probably just keeps ticking up slightly ever so slowly. I'm not sure that this war will, I personally think that the structural forces is still in the favor of stopping the war, especially from the part of Trump. I know that he's saying he doesn't care about midterms, but he's going to care.
Yeah,
he's going to care. So I don't see this war really being dragging on that long, to be fair. I think they'll still find a way. I think I think Trump will still find a way to
get a deal
again, to tackle. Yeah, so.
I think capital market will still find a way to end the year strong. Just for the fact that emerging markets will continue to get a slightly larger piece of the global pie as we enter into next year. Not generally because we are doing anything fantastic, but we are acting more like a structured economy these days, and that is working in our favor. Inflation, I still think we will find a dip towards the tail end of August. Not dip, just go down slightly towards the tail end of August. It's historical. It will happen. I don't think there's anything that's going to change that. Nigeria's capital markets will do well.
You're not worried.
I'm not.
Yeah.
So I think we've passed the worst is behind us in most things.
Yeah.
Let's go back to work, which we've already been doing. But anyway, so yeah.
All right. So I have one last question for you guys. It's a buy sell the whole kind of question, but just one. So I want to know which one you're buying, which one you're selling, which one you're holding.
Okay.
So you've got ₦1 billion. You have 3 choices. Put it in treasury bills for 17-18%, depending on the yield, current yield. Buy FX. Invest in your business or invest in business. Which one are you buying? Which one are you selling? Which one are you holding?
I'm selling, buying FX.
Don't respond as if it's you.
No.
Like as a Nigerian, yeah.
Oh, as a Nigerian,
Yeah, as
not
general
me.
Nigeria. Yeah. Okay, maybe you, whichever one.
Yeah.
As you. Yeah. You're buying
selling
what?
FX.
You're selling FX. Okay.
I'm holding treasury bills, investing in my business.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
100% agree. Don't buy FX. Buy FX in this
Thank you. Say it louder, please.
environment.
Amaka, say it louder.
No,
Say it
don't
louder.
buy FX.
All right, guys. Let me know. Let me know what you're buying, what you're selling, and what you're holding. If you have ₦1 billion, are you going to buy FX?
Risk,
Are you going to buy? Are you going to? Is it interest rates?
An investment in
especially investments.
Let me know what you guys think as we get to the end of this special episode of Drinks and Mics. We're going to do a bit more of this mid-season or during this break. Thank you so much, Amaka, for being a part of today's show, for bringing it all the way down, and for Tunji and Arnold note as well for driving.
By the way, we
me
might
here.
have one more in this off season. It's not yet decided yet. Pending on
certain things. It's so good.
All right. Of course, we want to give special shout out to our partners, Lead Drop for the drinks. We've got Mandilas, of course, who supports us with the, lovely air conditioning and cars, Toyota cars. We're looking at getting one. Swan UAC for the Swan water that keeps us hydrated. Of course, we're here at the Yolo Beach Resort. So shout out to Yolo Beach or Yolo Island. If you want to come have fun, this is where to come to. Very serene environment. Yep. And to the Nairametrics team as well for putting this together. Thank you all so much.
Of course.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
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 All right. Until we do this again next time, do have a profitable day ahead. Bye.